in the tree lines. They're sitting inside the trees where we've seen Weeha yesterday blink to move up the lane and get more Martial machines down the wave. But this time around, Weeha moves back to the mid lane.
These 2 kills on Spectre that Liquid have found are super important for them. Ame has... I think the second kill is more forgivable because there was an aggressive smoke into his supposedly safe part of the jungle. But the first one at the top tier 1 tower, I think he felt a little bit bad about that one because there was hits. That should just have been a flat-out kill on Gyro, but mistakes do happen.
It's like, I don't know exactly where Kuro is going to walk. It's like it was a toss back to a target.
Yeah. It's a little bit tricky to land these. Liquid have done an excellent job lately in the lower bracket with hitting difficult spell combos and having really good timing with, for example, their Darkseers. But that one did not work out. More and more time being bought for this Spectre. You have to remember this is a Spectre that went Midas first item. So even though Spectre is this almost 2,000 gold behind Void, net worth on Spectre is insanely valuable. If you get later on in the game and he's still 2k behind the Void in 5 or 10 minutes, this gold just transforms into so much damage and tankability in the fights. And vision even, with the Haunt.
Charles has claimed the tier 2 tower on bottom lane. Liquid, as you said, like there's a lot of time wasted by LGD looking for these fights from Liquid. They're actually looking at Mind Control, who grabbed the Invis rune, so FY was just stalking him in the mid lane, but it never came. And what happened? Once again, Centaur, not part of a team fight. He's down on the bottom lane, pushing it out, at least claiming the gold, and this will allow also the bounty runes to go a 2-2 split. Centaur's getting bigger and bigger. Now a Vanguard completed, already got the pipe, and the Crimson's on its way.
They're going to smoke out. S3 behind Somnus, looks like trying to set up a bait. He's going to run up to the high ground and get caught on purpose, but...
Well, Avalanche toss actually sending him back inside the banishment. Not exactly what they wanted, but the 5-second arrow will connect on Somnus. But this just allows Liquid to disengage, or does it? Stampede forward, Moonlight Shadow now burned by Team Liquid. As they turn around to come back once more, Miracle adds Chronosphere up. And they're looking for a target. They find the other Titan, purge him up with the time locks. My lord, that damage. They didn't have to burn the Chronosphere, but Mind Control, Avalanche toss, FY too far away, he's actually all the time on Miracle! He gets a double Chronosphere, Charles and Rubik both caught in it. Sometimes needs to create a little bit more space with the call out. He might be able to do so. Miracle, time walks back up, cooldown once again. Spectral Haunt jumping around. Who's he focusing on? He looked for his target, but the time walk away got Miracle away to safety, but someone's can at least reach over towards Kuro with their flat cannon. Arrow, Charles, he doesn't care. Walk straight in front of him. But LGD, commitment did come in from Rubik to buy back for that fight.
Yep. I think you're pretty happy with that as Liquid. LGD tried to smoke into you, you repelled them. They tried to chase further, you turn around, get 2 kills and buyback forced. It's not the end of the world for LGD, of course. It was the Rubik buyback and not that of a core.
There we go. That's how fast X-Nova died. I don't even think that was a full second.
And the LGD from, the BKB from Somnus as well, being used in that. So that's the 10-second charge to only kill off the Shadow Demon.
You can see the way Team Liquid played it though. Like, okay, Kuro died, but Somnus went through that entire 10-second BKB, and like, what do you get from it? Like, how does LGD keep them in position? Spectre jumps in, like, are you cleaning off the backlines? Are you focusing down the Tinker? Tinker didn't even really feel like he had an influence in that fight.
No. When Ame came in, they had used their stuns and their initiation already. Ideally, what LGD's lineup wants to do is to be the initiators and just jump in and start the fight, and then you haunt, get vision, and play the fight according to your vision. But when it's Liquid with the high ground advantage, when it's Liquid with the Moonlight Shadow, it makes it a lot harder to use these spells correctly and find the targets you're looking for.
Here we go again.
Lane.
Avalanche toss, here's your BKB. There's the 9-second one down, but Mind Control, he may be the sacrifice. Kuro's going to give him a little bit of extra time with the disruption. He can't blink himself away from this, and Mind Control will fall. The Purge, any kind of disruption, not able to do it. Now Stampede in, Chalice, they're looking towards Kuro. 2 of them together, they can't break free. Kuro, he definitely is the sacrifice. He can throw out at least a catcher. But then look towards mid as Weeha jumping after Ame. Rearmed, does he want to keep the pressure on? No, he doesn't. Just control the mid lane. He's down 2 heroes, and this is where Liquid got a lot of strength last time they played the Tinker on this main stage. They bought time. Even when a fight doesn't go their way, instantly WeHa's pressuring the other lanes.
And that's why the Spectre pick is so important, because are you actually buying time for a win condition in this game? Is this favoring you to play like this?
It kind of feels like it when you've got the Tiny and the Void together. Like the volley into Chronosphere, you can still win those high ground fights.
The volley might be the X factor in this game, because if you look at these lineups from before the new eggs, I would say Dire going late game, they will be happy to do so against this team, but with all this new damage coming out from Tiny, it could be better for Liquid. I'm just a bit concerned that, yeah, sure, I mean, you're delaying the game, but you're also not taking any towers. You're not putting additional pressure on the map because neither lineup has very good sieging whatsoever. Both teams have taken 2 towers only 24 minutes in. They can't really Roche because both lineups are also pretty bad at that. So it's kind of just this farming game. And farming games historically are just so good for Spectre.
Yep.
Maybe Silver Edge can be a solution later. That could be something they can work around it with. But for now, I think LGD are pretty happy with their situation. So is DOTA Plus, giving them 3-1, actually. DOTA Plus loves Spectre.
Of course it would.
So,
but it doesn't know what we know as well. But this new combination that's just been wrecking the main stage and a little bit of the group stage of TI9. Charles is looking to try and fight, but that is not the target they want. 2.6k, they're actually going to stampede. They're not finding a target, however. All of Liquid's back. In fact, you've got Mind Control pushing in the top lane. Kuro is continuously de-warding the LGD primary jungle. And the Centaur Illusions are watching Roshan. That's it. That's... No one else is close to any other objectives on the map.
And it's an even boundary and trade again.
And it feels like there's so much pressure on Team Liquid to hit that fantastic Chronosphere or always control the side lanes.
It's true. I think compared to other Void games we've seen from Liquid, there's a lot of pressure on Miracle in this game. I think just getting a good one hero chrono is not going to cut it in this game, even if you chrono the gyro or whatever. The response LGD have later, I think it's just too overpowering. Even if you kill one core with the chrono, if they have a buyback, they can run you down with Stampede and Haunt, and you end up not getting a favorable fight.
Do you even pop the Stampede during the Chronosphere once the Aghanim Tip? Because the Aghanim Tip is coming quickly. It's what's that, 2100 away from being complete. On the Centaur.
You do that for Gyro. I don't know if you do it for anyone else. You might not even do it for Spectre, just because Spectre can buy back Haunt and then you can run people down. It was one of the integral parts of OG's victory last year when they played their Spectre lineups. They just took advantage of Ana's ability to tank a lot of damage on his carry, and then if he does get killed, he can buy back and come back in. And you can't ignore that factor from the Spectre in fights. Spellsteal coming out.
He's got Time Walk again. That's a good initiation. And as we saw her escape from FY before.
Man, look how confident Chalice is. Maybe a bit too much here.
Disruption, catcher, the arrow is going to connect as well. Perfect stun. They're going to force off him down. That's FY hanging in the neighborhood of Miracle. It's a double Chronosphere. Mind Control running with the Avalanche, but he's walked inside the Chronosphere. He's done himself up, and maybe they don't have the damage anymore. As Somnus is in the backline, he'll end up killing up Kuro, the first casualty of this team fight. And the Chronosphere playing around WeHa. He caught the big man, and maybe with the Avalanche toss from Tinker gonna buy back into this fight. Tron doesn't have the life for this. Maybe with a toss-up, he can push Chalice away. But where they can't stay on top of him, LGD are all getting out of here.
Buyback.
They have to take Roshan now. They're going straight 80 seconds. Mind Control's gonna regen on the Shrine with GH, but Miracle, he's starting this up.
Elder Titan is spawned. He's gonna go scout it out. There is no way Liquid get this. They don't have the damage. When this Elder Titan Spirit starts countering them out,
they're giving it a shot. They have the 30-second window. Time walk away. Miracle, he'll dodge the stomp. Arme's throwing out the dagger, and now hoofs on forward. A 4-star from GH trying to get Kuro away to safety. He's in close. Miracle trying to slow him down with a time dilation, but Kuro's already gone down. LGD's arrived, but man, Miracle's done all the hard work for him. Now Roshan, he has to be contested by LGD.
Really bad news for Liquid. They don't have Chrono for this fight. Good arrow.
5 seconds on the arrow. It's gonna maybe make LGD think twice. They need Tinker behind to put down martial machines inside the pit. They need you for being here. Mind control. He'll go for the avalanche shot. He didn't have information on the Roshan. He thought it was probably a lot lower. Arrow, 5 seconds until he's got to get out there. There's the martial machine for Roshan. Miracle jump back in again. Roshan, he goes to the radiant. Miracle has the Aegis, the Immortal. Now trying to battle head to head with Thomas. That BKB in such a low duration. Miracle keeps getting time lock after time lock. He is the master of time. And they arrow another 5 seconds. They just keep on coming. Mind control hits the avalanche centaur. The stampede on 80 AP. He'll go up the hill and blink. They're disengaging. But they want more. He's flicked the top of the shot. The Moonlight Shadow FY. He tries to hit this entire team all by himself. Miracle has to stop the clock, but the Aegis will pop. So will we have fun. It's a timeout from him. Gianna going down to FY. FY total gone. He is just dominating this game.
The presence of mind in that moment to steal Avalanche and catch 2 heroes, one of which was the Miracle Void going for the Chrono on mind control. He went too far.
He just tried to push the lane out. He tried to create space. And LGD, they get a bonus in their gift bag.
From one insane play to the other. The Miracle Roche steal to begin with. Jumping in with a BKB. He not only got the Aegis, he got the kill on Roche too. Then they keep chasing up. And FY with a huge defensive play. And you're going to see the start of it here. And the arrows from GH, if just one of these arrows miss, it's a totally different situation. But this is the opening for Miracle. Gets the kill, gets the Aegis. Does not have the Chrono yet, though. That's why Somnus will eventually get away from this and reset up to the Shrine. The 4-step from FY, buying the space into Stomp. That's the first arrow. Maybe if Miracle focused on the Centaur a little bit earlier, they could have got Chalice here. He ends up resetting too. And Weehaw wants to go for that chase, doesn't find him. He rearms and blinks up. And that's the start of a disaster. Weehaw going greedy here, blinking into the Shrine. Sets up for a long fight where Liquid have to come in and help. And this Avalanche deal right here, huge. Just as the Chrono comes out. I mean, it's also nice that Miracle Chrono'd the Tinker for him. I'm not gonna blame. Not gonna complain about that, FY.
I'm gonna come back to real life right now as Kuro dead again. Arme looking to bounce around the map on the back of that Spectral Haunt. Maybe a little bit sad he only was able to pick up the SD. But you talk about that net worth increase on the Spectre. He's going to be a little happier moving towards that heart. Centaur is by far. Chalice was the one. He was total trash. He was thrown out. He was a rejected Centaur. He is now 16,300 worth of net worth in this Centaur. Stampede, Crimson and Pipe. It's the disengage, it's the sustain, it's what's allowing LGD to do what they're doing and allowing FY to just be ballsy as hell.
He might be the first trash of the main event that Liquid can't take out. It actually struggling a lot, and their chances, they're dwindling by the minute. The advantage. How many Spectre games have we seen international? When teams can know what the win rate is, it's got to be absurd. So Liquid, they need to find some crazy Chronos. They need to get a Silver Edge probably to deal with him later on. It would also be nice to get those breaks off. That when we get to that stage, if we can
have the Ags on Tani though, so we can combinations. The faceless void, the tree toss. Of mind control, doing some damage, like obviously we took from Weehaw's games yesterday, of youth, that he just wanted to jump in and the rest of Liquid come with him. The same kind of way that Anna does it for OG, but in that part of the fight, like, yeah, Miracle could not find the perfect Chrono.
Don't click Spectre yet. How much health do you think it has?
I'm gonna go like 3.5. Just feeling that.
3,720 health
Close.
with the dispersion.
It's almost the price is right.
You can chrono this Spectre and have Tiny and Tinker do everything perfectly, and Ame still doesn't die. You need Soul Catcher. So Kuro has to be involved in these plays to kill off the Spec. I know I'm talking about the Spectre a lot, but I just feel like the hero, whenever it's in a game like this, it just deserves so much attention with how the games and generally play out. And even though he didn't have the perfect start, Ame's in a great spot right now. Worth highlighting too, Somnus went Dagger on Gyro. The idea here is you haunt, and the moment you see him with this Gyro and blow him up. We haunt until he has this BKB, which he can afford now, but then not at buyback, will just get blown up by Gyro. He's going to solo him if he gets vision. So plenty of problems to solve here for Liquid.
They have damage issues. It's able to penetrate the resistance of LGD. They have the inability to do full global. Xnova is actually just camping in the trees in the bottom lane. He's put down a Tinker, both an Observer and a Sentry Wall. There's no shenanigans. The BKB has arrived now for Weeha. And here's the TP forward. Xnova, he knows Weeha's here. It's the same type of movement that Weeha's done time and time again on his Tinker. Up the trees, push the wave. And LGD smoked up, but they're not ready to go just yet. It feels like Xnova's not enough to work with the Spectre just to get that straight up kill.
They might have gone for it if we had enough BKB. But I think Xnova clicked Weeha when he came in. He called the BKB out. If you haunt for that, Weeha's going to BKB TP out. Oh, maybe he's still hunting for him here.
They're looking for Tiny. He's tree tossing from the trees, but he blinks into the wave. Homing Missile chasing mind control, and maybe with a hook stop, and they stampede forward. Homing Missile will connect. And Tiny, well, FY stole tree volley. It's not the greatest thing to steal from Rubik.
He's trying. They didn't get him. Weeha outplaying him there and getting away. But you can clearly see what the game plan is. Xnova, you're hunting Tinker. We go as a 3-man unit and hunt somebody else, and Spectre farm. You can connect with either of the plays that we find on the map. And Liquid's game plan is let's not fight. They are.
I think they might.
So far, they've just been avoiding moves for a couple of minutes now with Chrono ready. They just don't want to take these fights. They don't feel favored.
They see Centaur in the bottom lane. The arrow's going to fly. It's just shy of Somnus, but the Chrono Miracle! Thought for a moment it was going to be a second too late.
Well, at least he didn't cast it.
They cannot afford to have such a huge ability go on cooldown. Even though it's a 2-minute cooldown, he's not going the Ags. It's a Satanic style build for Miracle. But he's got a long way to jump with that plus 500 time walk cast range. They're able to get that initiation. The question is always, though, can the rest of Liquid keep up with him? I don't think he'll actually need that long cast range in a bit because LGD, how long is it until they want to come high ground? I keep my eye on Roshan. He may respawn in about a minute.
Yeah, they're definitely not high grounding without Nagus. And I think they might give it to Gyro, honestly. Even though Spectre is the centerpiece of the lineup toward the later portions of the game, Spectre can always buy back and haunt back in, and Gyro can then start sieging the base as well with the Aghanims coming up as his...
To actually see that coming up as like your... Well, it's your third major item outside the blink of the drums.
Yeah, exactly. This feels like the first Gyro game we've seen at the main event where he does not go Ags, just like first main item. Maybe you'll get a drum first, but then we've seen Ags pretty much every single game. But Somnus adapting to the game, prioritized getting the early BKB, feel had to be able to get them across. So they could get to the state in the game, and his BKB has actually been extra on. He would not have done the same with an Ags.
The time is about to come up on Roshan, and it's 144.
5.2k health.
My lord.
5.2k health, Pipe Magic Resistance, Crimson Guard Physical Reduction.
And then he's going to go Shiva on top of that, and he's already cut himself, what was that, 8+15 armor?
Well, the good news is...
He's in range of blast.
Soul Cap on him.
That's terrific, and maybe if you can kill him, you can even get yourself an illusion of him, and he can fight against you.
Yep.
That was the one thing. Kuro, even though he's like he's been ripped on levels, he's the lowest level of the field, still's like, nope, I'm going to get an illusion out of this. I'm going to put a catcher down. We're going to find kills. Moonlight Shadow once again. Miracle just wants to initiate. They have a great Observer and Sentry down. They see Somnus. They see a huge target as well. Oh, no, they see nothing anymore. They'll have to go towards the top lane. Great mana style, time dilation, arm main, Stampede will get him away. And the rest of LGD, they're thinking if they want to fight. The arrow was thrown out by GH for a little bit of a quick scout, and they still know they're in the trees. But look at this presence from LGD. They understand they need to get the vision. Here we go. Miracle. He jumps in. Homing missile's going to come his way. He's going to BKB instantly. FY going to jump himself away as quick as he possibly can with the time walk stolen. He just moves away from the BKB Miracle. And the hostile catching Kuro on the backline with the spectral horn. Kuro instantly exposed. Mind-control GH want to get the hell out here. Miracle is now the time to actually Chronosphere. The homing missiles are coming in. They're surrounded on all sides, trying to TP away to safety. Tiny's waiting this one out. Inside the pocket ball, the Starfall will come down. Mind control, cancel on the TP because FY gets in range for the telekinesis grab. They've already taken GH. Mind control will do as much damage as he can before death. But LGD, they were the ones meant to be initiated on that fight, but Liquid, they never saw the opportunity, and they never wanted to take it.
They found the worst possible target. They found an Elder Titan completely on his own. They can't.
Somnus! He's gonna go down! Miracle trying to chrono to save his life! Somnus protected by the BKB! Miracle needs lock, and he'll bring down Somnus! A huge streak to end!
100 gold.
He's rich! He's glorious!
Is top net worth? No.
He at least buys the Aghanim Scepter so he doesn't lose any money, but LGD are taking Roshan. What have you even got, team? They can't contest this. Mirana might be able to TP out to try and throw an arrow, but it's already too late. Roshan at 1,500, now 0. It's all LGD, and FY! He jumps up, he goes towards GH. Sentry Wolf's vision, they have done. GH is gonna go down for a minute. Miracle, he jumped forward towards the front line too. He's looking for a kill of his own, but what's he got? FY! He actually just turns them around. Miracle triggers the strike. BKB TP's away to safety. Kuro, he does not want to die again. 8 is enough for the moment, but I think it might be a 9. He's moving back towards the base. Mind control needs to create a little bit of extra space. It's LGD. Think about coming up. Chalice, he won't just think about it. He'll do it now with the volley. Chalice, we'll see how much he can take or take. A hell of a lot. Sleep actually put him down. There was no volley. A double hookster. A double edge. And they'll just keep going hand underneath the tier 3s towards the tier 4s. If they kill the Void, he'll have to fight back if they want to defend this top leader Brax right now. Weehar is to slow down this push. They look like immortals, the thing they really want to claim to.
Looks like Liquid are just going to concede these barracks. This Void buyback is way too important. It's more important than the barracks. There's no mid lane for them to take yet because the tier 2 is still there.
They're trying to flanch. Can they toss him back over? There's already a pickup. FY's got the range. He's got the arrow. And mind control connected on all fronts. And with the hostile Giza, couldn't protect him. Chalice finds that kill. 5 point total.
This reject.
It actually isn't a good thing to have on a Centaur because it doesn't do enough.
It's still better on him. He might pass over the cheese to some possible play to swap that over instead of the drum. They're going to do exactly that.
Liquid are giving everything they've got, but LGD is just really starting to work for them. Well, I say really starting to. It's been working for a while for them. The golden experience graph ever since the 20-minute mark, it was, and everything is LGD's way. Chalice, his team is so far away from him. FY is back at the tier, and Chalice, I guess, fine.
An arrow for Somnus. Chalice is going to dodge it, so it hits the gyro in the back. Liquid, you got to play for your high ground now. I think any fight takes outside of base is inherently unfavorable right now. Just Aegis and Chi.
Spectre goes for the bottom lane. Kuro will get himself a copy. Toss under the tier 4 tower. Speed being used offensively. The lasers and rockets, any kind of spam they can get from range is off cooldown right now. The arrow flies a little bit too short. Kind of difficult for mind control. There's not a lot of trees to use inside your base unless you...
It's very, very true. And that is problematic. Any fight around the mid lane makes tree volley almost impossible for him to use inside the base. Top, bottom, there's more options because you have the tree line in the bottom of the map. Just, I want to point out too how LGD are playing the map. They're playing this really aggressive 4-man bottom. The Centaur was semi-diving mid and got kind of caught when he got tossed, and then he still gets out with Stampede. The whole time, Somnus is farming jungle. They know they have this complete grip on the map. They're just maximizing profits.
That's a good interest rate. Taking forever. Like, okay, Ame is, come on, man. Like, he needs a little bit of extra help here. It's only a minute and a half to bring down a Shrine. Tink is pushing out the lanes in the meantime. Trying to find that burst damage with refreshed Aegon. No, we are. Careful, careful, careful. He's got Blink available. He's going to go for, okay. A Blink and TP away to safety. Ame feeling his air spectral daggers through the trees. He's already gone for the negative 10-second cooldown timer on that, so he's totally fine. Hit the 25 with a +6 dispersion.
Arrow.
Yep, able to connect, but then again,
Stolen out.
Chalice jumps himself forward. The defensive disruption actually going to dodge all the abilities and the Storm. Walk himself away, and they really, Cal's like, please, please, hit me, I want it. The arrow, a little bit too late, the current speed does come down, combining with a volley, mind control from inside the tree line, they get through the Centaur, that's Spectre, under the tier 3 towers, with another avalanche, they keep the control over on Ame. X-Nova wants to put them to sleep and create a little bit more space.
Arrow.
Yeah, they get another. Out the Aegis, he actually gets his regeneration burn off as well, but the head, the flag cannon, Gyrocopter, hits Corona, Someone's coming to attack, the Dagon, and Liquid are doing it, they're breaking through the heroes, Rubik as well, you can Dagon more flying out, FY, 49 HP, he's getting away, will that clip him? It does, but he's got 100 HP, gonna load Storm up and as well. They're trying to find him. Ehar's here, but he sees nothing. Now he'll see the Rubik. They got him. They fight back for the first time in 20 minutes to their advantage.
That was an incredible hold. Soul Catcher is the reason to win this game. It really feels like it. They need to Soul Catcher the Centaur to get the chrono off, to get the kill. It's going to force out a 5x from FY.
Liquid, how much do you really want to take? There's no Spectral Horn for 32 seconds. Ame can TP back if he needs to. For the moment, he's waiting for the 45-minute boundary race. He doesn't even want to be here for this. They're trying to get the cash. Centaur's 8 seconds away, but they won't get much more. But they get space. But you've still got that ticking time bomb of Spectre Ame. So there's an instant control if LGD fight on their turn.
It will be the first time ever on the main stage of TI that 100% game has been swung. Dota Plus gave LGD 100 rounded up, but this is a game where you have to understand just how far Liquid are behind and how exactly things for them to be able to win fights. And that one defense was the start the whole time if they managed to do it.
Oh, Sam, don't you jinx it. Don't you jinx it on that one. Type of quality, but LGD, they're starting to itemize very strongly. Charles is looking towards a BKB. He feels like he needs a little bit more than just the courier will bring it out to him. More than likely. A Bloodthorn build. Now the new build as well from Somnus. He went for the Basher. He'll have to switch out his phase boots in order to get this.
I like the switch up from Chalice. He changed away from Shiva's guard. He was considering Shiva, but now he's going BKB. Oh, he's now switching to AC.
Okay.
I like that one. Because I feel like they need a solution to the Soul Catch. They have a Lotus Orb on FY. What else do they have? Is that the only Dispel they have? I mean, it's enough if he's in range, right? If he's there to save the Centaur, he should be okay.
But it's going to be difficult. And I'm also wondering how LGD continue to do damage. You're talking about, like, how, well, crap a lot of the building damage is. You're getting an Aghanim Scepter build coming in for Weeha. This is gonna bounce. And LGD, they're gonna have a hard time actually inflicting damage in the fight. Arrow will fly in, will hit onto the illusion of the Gyrocopter, but Roshan is up. It's a refresher shot. inside of this Roshan. No Aghanim's upgrade. But in this game, it feels like Refresher Shard is just the bread and butter for every team.
Yeah, it's huge. 2 Chronos, or 2 Stampedes, or 2 Haunts. Whichever one you prefer. It's a really big grab for either team.
Team Liquid have the Observer and Sentry up on the hill. They're going to smoke up. They see Somnus. They'd love to go on him. Challenge is right behind him. Here's your Avalanche toss, but then Somnus moves away. Challenge! He also does the backline. He's almost killed Kuro. In fact, he has done so. Mind control so long as well. Somnus now the Chronosphere and caught the Gyro Copter of a Miracle. He has to kill him in here. Arrow's flying in with the ETs, but a Miracle can't finish the job. He can't get the damage out. Buyback's already come in from Tiny. The Moonlight Shadow. They're trying to escape. GH underneath the Sentry Ward. FY's wanting to stick around with him while the rest of LGD run forward. They're chasing Miracle. The homing missile is after him. GH has finally gone down to FY. Weeha's already pushing out the lane. He doesn't want anything to do with this. But with these deaths, do you feel confident enough now, LGD, to go in for Roshan?
I think you do. You have the Manta already again on Ame. It's the primary way of killing Roche. There's even an Arcane Rune for him, so the cooldown is super short. He's going to use it now and get to work. And you were talking about damage funks for LGD. There's a couple of solutions for them. Ame's getting close to a Bloodthorn. Somnus. Somnus buying this Basher is actually pretty genius for 2 reasons. First of all, obviously, you know, if he gets on top of someone and can bash, it can be the difference between a kill and a death, but it's also stunning Miracle while he's chronoed because of the side gunner. I think he got 1 Basher proc in that last Chronosphere. And, you know, it's 1.5 seconds.
Oh, Miracle. What are you doing here? Time walk away. Quick as he possibly can, but Somnus has a blink dagger, and now Miracle, BKB versus BKB. No Chronosphere Veil right at the side. Miracle will just time walk off the damage, but TV out. He's gone! FY! He catches him, and Miracle has got another time walk available, but the stun's the bash from Somnus is able to connect. Miracle's down. He's already at the tier 3 towers, but he's kind of by himself. A very, very deep in. Catcher and Persian. Weeha needs a little bit more damage to bring him. Charles is dropping low. Remember, he's got in this tier 3 tower by himself. He's the space. Ame will complete by killing off the tower. Refresher Shard, Nullifier, Spectral Horn, everything's going to be up for Ame in just a second.
And this time, I don't think Miracle can hold the buyback.
Goes for the disruption. One charge trying to give him a little bit more time. The arrow is going to be soaked up by the illusion. Kuro is dead. No buyback available for him. The melee ranks are taken. Ame, but do they have enough? Mind control blinks off cooldown in just a second. He throws out the volley, but the spectral dagger, the push is just too fast away. Here comes Charles once again. Hey, would you mind giving me a charge? They gave him 1.
And Liquid looks like they held, but it cost the Void buyback, it cost the Shadow Demon life, and it cost the mid laner racks.
They also down the melee racks up on top, so both top as well as middle are crippled for the moment.
And there's 4 bounties going the way of LGD, and they still have Aegis and Refresher Shard. The cheese is on Rubik.
Yeah. Hey, he needs the mana right now, it seems. Still building into the side.
And this is not the ideal hero for them to have the Aegis on the Centaur. You'd probably rather have it on the Gyro, but it also at the same time means that Chalice can siege. If he has stacks on Retaliate, he can run in and hit this tower, and it's going to force Liquid to respond. But you kind of don't want to go on him, but you have to. He just hits too hard with 13 stacks of Retaliate.
Mind control needs these trees to respawn. He doesn't have anything to work with. The arrow flies forward. Chalice kind of probably wish he took that. Spectre's using illusions and herself to push in the top lane. Spectral Haunt will get it to the front lines no matter what. This is just side lane pressure being applied against Team Liquid. Chalice with the Aegis, tossed a long way in. I love the leap, getting him deep underneath the tier 4 towers. They're trying to break free him, and maybe they have enough with the volley as well. Mind control, here he's got trees to work with. They break the Aegis Immortal. Ame's in very deep, also at the tier 4 towers. All 3 homing missiles to connect on Faceless Void. Fortifications buying time for Team Liquid. Even the creep wave is standing its ground. Chronosphere, you can see Miracle. He's trying to get closer. They have Sentry wards down, however. They see him, and he Chronos, the backline, the Gyrocopter dying quickly. Disruption! Are you kidding me? FY is just creating so much space to allow something to rip into Team Liquid. 2 on the big pawns down the stolen corner. Why not? FY! That's the game. Everyone's going down, and no one's getting up from this. LGD, they have just punched themselves. Game 1 win, a against Team Liquid. They'll do it the old-fashioned way. Liquid are making it work for it. And there it is, LGD in 52 minutes are able to fight up against Liquid.
Dude, that play's so fucking good. So good.
Oh.
What a crazy game.
If that disruption didn't hit, Somnus was dead. They wouldn't have had the damage. We would have kept going.
I'm sure Paul is feeling great right now. He's a big FY fan, as he has said on the panel, and this was an outstanding performance. I mean, there's just, you could make a highlight reel from his plays in this game alone.
Yeah.
He had so many crucial moments with the perfect steals, the catches on the lifts, and in this last fight, very clearly they bait the chrono. The communication in the team is already there. Somnus, you can go bait, I have disruption. Liquid fall for it. I don't think they realized that the disruption was stolen by FY. So he chronos, instant disruption, instant steal the chrono, and kind of style points on the last chrono in the Mirana. Didn't even need it, but...
And you said SD was good. SD was great. But FY, he was every single hero on this map. And he helps push LGD to a series lead 1-0.
Great start for the hometown team here. PSG.LGD with the lead. We're going to get some thoughts from our panel in just a moment. But first of all, Brian, you've got something for us?
Yeah, Paul. I want to talk about perseverance in Dota. And we're going to be highlighting Chalice. This is before the talk even hits zero, that there's going to be this 4-on-4 engagement. And Centaur is going to get disrupted into an arrow, and he's going to feed First Blood. And you may say that might get him a little bit down. And we're going to look just a minute later into this game. You're going to pause, and we're going to see KuroKy and GH. Set up in the trees on one side is KuroKy and GH on the other. And they're going to patiently wait until Chalice walks into vision. And when he does so, he's going to die a second time before the lane creeps have even met to the Shadow Demon Mirana arrow combo. And the major thing we want to highlight from this man ends up being the highest net worth for the rest of the game, and it ends up being a crucial part for LGD to be able to finish this game off. In this fight, you're going to see him initiate, and he's going to have the presence of mind to see this arrow coming from the side here and take a last-minute sidestep down and be able to dodge the arrow and be able to barely live after taking out the Shadow Demon, getting Tiny Toss comboed. And this is like the crucial part of the game where if he dies there, he's not going to have nearly as much impact as he's going to have the rest of the game. And I think him being able to frontline for the rest of the team, set up all these Spectre haunts, being able to set up the gyro, do all the damage that he needed to do. And I just love that when you have that bad of a start in this crucial of a game that you're able to have that much impact.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. Yeah, 2,000 IQ analysis there as well. Thank you, Brian. Gents, great performance by PSG. And as Brian pointed out, some little plays in there that were silky smooth.
Yeah, they were. I mean, he brought it up. FY had an amazing game. Chalice, though, had the best game in even middle lane, right? I think the early game, the Gyrocopter got a solo kill on Weehaw, which is just crazy for him.
Our MVP, as voted for by you, actually, at home, in client. This is votes in client. There were 19,000 votes alone for FY in this game. I think there might be something to do with popularity here.
Oh, I mean, he made the big plays. No, Paul. I mean, popularity, yes, but big plays, he was bigger than anyone in that game.
See, I'm with you, Gods. We're at the small end of the thing. Those two don't know anything what they're doing.
There's a story about that. There's, you know how you said LGD is like already won TI, they're the preordained TI winners. FY, there was a joke about him for MDL last season. He was the preordained MVP, and he actually didn't get that MVP.
Right.
And when he was asked about it, he said, it's no big deal. The trophy was too small anyway, right? But here, right, he is making a strong performance that he could be the TI MVP while simultaneously claim the Aegis. But first, they have to be able to take down Liquid a second time, and that's tough.
Yeah, let's not get carried away, because that was just for one game. That wasn't, for the whole of the event just yet. Let's check in with Casey and Slacks after an exciting game number one.
Absolutely, it was a fantastic game, number one, Red Eye. We are here in the crowd. It's packed up here next to the screens, and I got some people to talk to us. Sir, how you liking everything so far after game one?
Yeah, I think LGD got quite lucky there. They were definitely struggling for the majority of the game, so hopefully Liquid will bring it back,
FY God, FY God, huh?
Disruption and then the chrono at the end.
Beautiful.
And he's very handsome.
Very handsome indeed. What's the atmosphere like in the arena right now for those at home?
Oh, it's amazing. The crowd's awesome. Woo! No, OG, woo!
OG!
The 1% here, OG, woo!
OG, sir?
LGD!
LGD! All right, I'll pass it over here.
We got some more fans over here. I heard a lot of LGD, but what is this? I need you to actually say it. Gotta do that in the grand finals, of course. I am loving the pride here.
Hi, it's been a great game, and I like everybody here.
Yeah?
I just love everybody.
Yes?
I hope Chinese team wins, but we only got LGD here, but I love OG.
You love OG?
I love Trav.
Okay, okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, friends.
Say again.
OG. I'm Liquid. Block.
You want OG versus Liquid?
No.
OG versus LGD?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I think either way we're going to have an amazing grand final. And is anybody else with me that all these teams are pretty deserving? Yeah. They're pretty good, right? Okay, so let's see here. You seem to like the microphone. I'm going to hand this to you. Why don't you interview
Casey, don't do it. Casey,
Yeah,
rule 4, never give your microphone away.
Been playing Dota.
No. What is this?
He's going to take over the whole show.
Away?
He's going up to millions of people right now. Guys, chill. Rule 4.
We still got a lot of games left, right, Red Eye?
Absolutely. We still have plenty of games left.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Casey and Slacks. Enjoying themselves as ever out in the main floor. And it was, I've said this before, it was loud on day one. My goodness, halfway through. They killed Miracle halfway through that game. This place erupted. It's ear-piercingly loud.
Yeah, I was sitting. We were all just pretty much sitting out here. You couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear the Chinese casters that over the intercom. You couldn't hear the English casters. It was just so loud.
I don't know how they put up with it. I really don't. The players. How they? I say put up with it. It's like blocking it out. They ignore it because they all know. Because I've spoken to them. They all go, we can hear them. Yeah, we've got earproof sound and then soundproof booth, but we can still exactly.
Yeah.
Right, they can still feel the crowd through the window. So, yeah, a lot of stuff for Liquid to be talking about for game number 2. I don't know what you felt about the draft and whether it went slightly askew there for Liquid, and maybe they got caught out a little bit by LGD or not. But
you know, I just think that LGD had like really good ideas about what they wanted to be able to do. I particularly like Gyrocopter versus Faceless Void. It's pretty funny seeing this hero late game nowadays. It's like he's got his own automated Chronosphere defense system with the Satanic as well as Basher. Definitely made things difficult, but the individual plays on LGD is what really made this lineup click. Because you can talk about synergy between ET and Centaur and you know, being able to have this Gyrocopter versus the Faceless Void, the Spectre to counterpick the Tinker, but at the end of the day, LGD's individual plays really shone through in this first game.
Yeah, and again, we highlighted at the start of the game, Grant, about how little these two cores die. Arme's the least amount of deaths at TI. Somnus is the third least amount of deaths. Protected so well by the rest of the team.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, you look at the itemization as well. Like the Centaur goes Crimson Guard Pipe. You're already a Spectre, right? You have Fade Bolt as well. The damage mitigation on that team is so good. They pop a Chrono. Centaur with the Aghanims. See you later.
Yeah. People want to talk about percentage-based damage and like, oh man, this Soul Catcher is going to be so effective, but the solution apparently is just build more HP.
Yeah, it went off the chart. Well, I was like, is that 5K or 6K? I don't know. I've lost count how much health is on that CW right now. But entertaining game. What do you expect for game 2, Gods? The same?
It's going to be similar. I think there are some key heroes. Liquid's opening that tiny void, very scary, and something. Even though PSG.LGD beat it, I think you're still worried about that combo going to game 2. I'm just imagining, if Liquid last ban Spectre, I don't think LGD's draft would have come together as well as it did.
Really?
Yeah. I think Liquid had a better draft up until that 10th pick. But that's the beauty of being second pick. And we've seen a lot of the teams really prefer first pick in these games because there are these certain heroes that can win you the game. But last pick of the draft there really came up big.
Yeah. Performances in Liquid side, we talked about how good LGD were. Miracle, I mean, could he have done any more?
That solo kill bottom, when Chalice solo killed him bottom, that was honestly very, very game-changing because they want to play fast. Like this Tinker, sure, you want to sit back and get farm, but he can help you get kills. Once he died, Chalice came top on the net worth, and this Void didn't have anywhere to go for like the next 3 to 4 minutes because of it.
And once that Centaur gets big enough, the Tinker, like the threat of the Tinker becomes less and less, and that means the Centaur is able to take over more of the map as a result, and it just really hems all of the Tinker's ideas of how to be able to play Dota. It just keeps him locked in a smaller space.
Support-wise, what about the Liquid supports?
I thought GH played pretty well. He went for the 4-step first. We're seeing more and more. He was where he needed to be with all the arrows and whatnot, but I think you just need more defensive supports. I know you had that Shadow Demon, but the Mirana doesn't really provide anything if you're on the back foot.
Yeah, they're kind of just two heroes that you can't really say too much about because they did their job. I don't think Liquid supports underperformed, but they weren't on heroes that could make the big plays and change the game, which FY was.
Yeah,
Even X-Nova.
Yep.
His ET, like the fight where the Tinker bought back around the Roshan pit, he hit a predictive stomp where Void was going to time walk into. Really sick play. That won them that fight. So.
You have the Roche control as well with Elder Titan. That's the thing. You could just completely change the game on those two heroes, where Miran and Shadow Demon, they aren't game changers. They're just very good heroes.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Demon, ET, most popular 2 heroes at this event. Did that surprise you?
That those are the most popular?
Yeah. Did you have them in your fantasy?
No, I had Grimstroke.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grim picks. I went with Elk.
He's still top 5 Grimstroke, you know.
Yeah.
But he's
I went
not
with Elk thinking it would be really, but actually just got banned a whole ton. So I think it's like 132 bans now, which has been insane. So.
Yeah, Shadow Demon was definitely going up before TI, so it's not terribly surprising to see him there. I personally had Earthshaker because Earthshaker's always just a classic TI hero because of what he provides for teamfight-wise, but these other supports have been higher value. ET especially has been in a similar position. The fact that he's able to take the 5 role really defines this hero, right? He is still a game-changing support in so many ways, whether it's through like little ways you don't see off of his aura or the big Earth Splitter that comes into play, but then he's also able to win lanes for you as well. And doing that as a 5 position, I think there's kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's good value as a 5. Wasn't necessarily good value as a 4, was he?
Yeah, this is that's been kind of the story of Dota for so many times, is trying to get the same effect out of a hero while simultaneously lowering his position in the net worth chart, right? We've seen so many 3s turn to 4s, 4s turn to 5s. This is just the way that the greedy system of Dota goes, and especially with games going later and later, those kind of value picks, you're going to feel good about yourselves in the draft, and I'm sure LGD would love to pick up the ET again.
Absolutely. It's a bit like Magic Hero. It's a 6.
Yeah, that's, I guess.
Not good.
There's not 6 people in a team, Paul.
It's no need to be like that, Cam. You can, be nice. Change.
You play great Shakiro, Paul.
Thanks, buddy. See, I was waiting for it. There it is. Look, freeze frame that one for him. Seems good. Thanks, Pudge. Cap. I'm getting you mixed up now as well. Not too long until these guys come back out for game 2. What are the coaches talking about with their teams, do you think?
PSG.LGD, don't get ahead of ourselves. Series isn't over. It's best of 3.
You think it's a mental chat now? It's not about the game?
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep them calm. They walk out, they hear the crowd because they can kind of tune them out when they're in the booth, but they're going to walk out. The same thing happened against OG. So they need to not get too far ahead of themselves. Focusing on game 2 now. And for Liquid, they lost their first game on the main stage. They're undefeated till now. They can easily do it.
First game dropped in 10.
Yeah, I would love to be able to hear what Kuro is telling the team. GH said their journey here has been a series of conversations, and that has been so much of Liquid, right? Is Kuro leading and talking to his team, and them trying to be able to figure out what they did right in a losing game and what they did wrong in a winning game, and being able to just always improve. And this is going to be their first real test, I guess, in many ways, since the playoffs started, their first loss. But I am very convinced that Kuro will be able to buck the team up and help them bounce back.
Yeah, fight against the crowd a little bit as well, Grant.
Yeah, it is, and this is the only downtime you have, right? Because once you walk back onto the stage, you're going to get all the butterflies again. You're going to get everything. This is your chance. As you said, Kuro gives you it. Just calm down. Think about what happened in a clear mind, and once you get out on the stage, it's going to all go away again, possibly.
It's funny, actually. I always think maybe it's like half-time at football or something when you come in. You'd rather carry on playing sometimes. Exactly. You'd rather stay in the booth, maybe. And you see the managers keeping players on the pitch sometimes. I just wonder whether one of these teams one day is just going to stay in the booth. Be like, right, we're not having a break. We're going to stay here until we figure out how it all went wrong. Teams are back out into the arena. PSG.LGD, 1 to the good against their rivals for a place in the grand final. They've been there before. The Team A7 champions, Team Liquid. It's a fascinating battle between 2 giants of the Dota 2 world. All the nerves come back, all the butterflies come back as we'll now wait for these 2 to settle themselves down. And first up, you know what? We know how Liquid got here, but what were they thinking they would do heading in to the International 2019?
Kuro, GH, welcome. So we mentioned TI8. We all made a huge story out of the narrative that of all the teams we had seen come back as TI champs, this felt like the first real chance of seeing a repeat winner 2 years in a row. Did you feel the pressure of that narrative, or did you use that to fuel you?
Certainly there was like some sort of pressure, but I don't think we let it really get to us. It's more like the TI itself is full of pressure, more than anything else.
And it's constantly changing. It's not the kind of game where you win TI and now a year later, 2 years later, you know for sure you're still the best. Like you have to really actively work at it because it's constantly
Dota is
evolving.
a kind of game, it's impossible to just stay on the top for a long time without like putting your soul into it. And even if you put your soul into it, doesn't matter. Like someone just overtakes you anyway.
And how is Kuro as a leader? How would you describe him as a leader when that kind of thing happens, trying to keep everybody focused on rolling with the punches?
I mean, it's easy for me to say because I know most of what happens behind the scenes usually. It's hard for the public to understand what Kuro's true job is. It's 90% outside the game that nobody actually sees. So I feel like his true role is not in-game related as much as outside the game, even though he offers an extreme amount of information.
He basically said I'm a shit player, but you know.
I didn't want to say it. But
Yeah, how do you separate that? Because I know that you have to make decisions that are business related about friends and teammates. And you know, the most common time for teams to make changes sometimes is right after a TI. You made no roster changes, but then in June, you parted ways with Matumba Man. That had to have been really difficult because you've been playing together as the same players for so long. So I know that that wasn't a decision that you made lightly.
No, it was, I mean, I was basically depressed for like 4 weeks afterwards. It sounds silly because I made the decision, but at the end of the day, being captain, leader, and whatever of this team, I have so much responsibility. Like they're all trusting me after all to make the right decisions. So getting Weeha and replacing Matu with Weeha is not just like exchanging like a player for a better player. That's not what happened. It's more like Matu was like a victim of these events. Like I just needed to change something right now. That's how I felt.
And how was that as a player for you, GH?
I mean, we all felt some kind of complacency in the team. It felt like everyone was just okay with not being the best. We had some feelings of, okay, we didn't win this one, but we weren't trying our best to win the next one.
Yeah, and he's not talking about Matu. He's talking about the whole team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it felt the build-up was there, but we didn't know how to deal with it because all of us as players, we actually wanted to win, but we didn't know what was the missing factor, that spark that actually was going to lead us to win. Because no one was feeling this sense of urgency to actually try 120% better to win the game. So the situation was kind of weird because I have never experienced it before. And Kuro was, I mean, I can keep talking highly about Kuro, but he actually foresaw what was going to happen, and he made the best choice by actually changing something. Even though I love Matu and I love him as a person, as a player, but Kuro had stronger idea that something had to change, and I respect him so highly for that because it's not an easy decision. So I was really happy that he had the strength to do what was necessary in order for us to succeed, our team and Matu as an individual and someone else too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Time to get into game number 2. PSG have the lead. Will it stay that way? Let's find out.
PSG.LGD versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
Now, folks, I know what's going through your head right now. You say, Visiter har Hyventin ox spellar lit Dota. And I hear you, man, but it's a little bit different when you were up on this main stage. You obviously know, if you can hear it through the speakers right now, you can hear it through the stream. LGD definitely going to be the fan favorites, and now Liquid is going to have their backs against the wall. Is the longest losers run that we've ever seen at TI going to come to an end in this game? And as we look at the draft, which is already underway, we're going to see some familiar faces, Kyle.
Yeah, indeed. And dude, you don't just hear the crowd. I'm telling you, the players on the booth, they feel it. they've got the booths have a heartbeat. As the crowd like starts to get into it, you're feeling the pulse, and it's got to be insane to be playing right now because every time PSG.LGD gets momentum, it's like you're starting to vibrate.
So I've never actually done it as a player, obviously, but I've gotten the opportunity to be up on the main stage and actually introduce teams. And I remember the first time I did it, the thing that I didn't expect was to feel my teeth shake. You could literally, when the fans started screaming, you could hear your teeth shake. That vibration that Kyle mentioned, that energy, it's definitely felt, even if you're in a noise-canceling booth.
Yeah, when it comes with the nerves, you know, when you're in a team setting, people will ask you, do you feel comfortable playing this hero? I think it's a good hero for the game, kind of thing. The draft, the captain will ask you. And what hero are you going to play for millions of dollars? That's the question going into this draft. That's why so much of the meta, so much of the like popular heroes doesn't matter once you get into these later stages of the draft. You ask a player, like, what do you feel comfortable playing in this pivotal match for your career?
We don't need to guess when it comes to FY. The man is a killer, and there's this iconic group of players, less than a handful. Everyone plays their best DOTA TI, but some guys, like they ascend somehow. That was FY's 100th game of Rubik. He just crushed. Now they early pick his Lion. It's just the best anti-carry hero in Dota. You have 2 methods of lockdown, tons of burst damage, and already PSG.LGD, they have so much control in this lineup.
Now, the funny thing that I want to bring up as well with LGD, and this is something that we saw that even transcends the draft, the way that they've itemized has been spectacular.
Yes.
They've basically been able to close gaps even when they fall behind just by itemizing the right way.
Yeah, that last game, we talked about having to survive through the chrono. You just have a Centaur with a heart, you have a Spectre with a heart. They just know, in the draft, you see their game plan come to life almost when you watch the game itself.
It's damage reduction, and they had so much of it. The Fade Bolt, you had Pipe, Crimson Guard, Ags, Centaur. Gyro gets an Ag, so even if he's CC'd in the middle of the Chronosphere, he's just going to still be dealing damage. It's just an excellent way to deal with what Liquid had in the previous game. This time, they steal the support duo of Rubik ET, the Miracle Sven perhaps, but we're going to have to see him turn up a bit. Both we and Miracle got solo killed in that first game in the first 10 minutes.
I do want to go back to kind of what you were saying, because you said it so well while we were hanging out in the crowd and watching this game. When we looked at what LGD said, they said, okay, yeah, what Liquid has put together, they're going to be able to get it off consistently. So they didn't say, how do we avoid it? They said, how do we deal with it once we actually do get caught? And that's the type of thinking that we've seen from LGD so far in this tournament. It's one of the reasons they've looked like such a top dog lifestealer.
And I know we're probably, a lot of the NA groups are going to have a bit of PTSD about this hero, RTZ. Out of the tournament, 0-2, both on this Lifestealer, but it's a completely different game. You're up against 2 supports that have absolutely nothing to deal with Rage, and in addition, it's arguably the hardest counter to Sven because you just hit him in the face.
Yeah, and it's a reliable way to deal with combos like Sven Darkseer. Liquid coming out with this Wombo combo teamfight, something we've seen different approaches from these teams. We've seen these like split pushy, skirmishy, kind of back and forth type lineups, and then we see these Wombo combos. If you get caught by this Darkseer vacuum into Sven stun, you're all gonna die. But I love LGD because they just understand that they think about these things. You can see in the game, their positioning, the hero picks. Lifestealer makes it so much easier to avoid these types of things happening. And it's just another Ame hero, right? It's a farming hero that's going to get his items and he's going to hit that crucial timing. And they can play around what he does for the game. Spectre being the last pick. This is the first time I've seen LGD, I think in the last like 5 or 6 games, not pick Ame's hero last.
I do want to go back to something that you just said there as well, BSJ, because I feel like it has been a huge theme of the tournament. Besides all the storylines, the idea of the young players really stepping up and the ideas of whether or not we were going to have back-to-back champions, it's constantly that question of, is this going to be a skirmish game or a Wombo combo game? And what we see right now, Kyle, how do you feel it's shaping up?
It's all about Liquid's pace. You've got 2 heroes that traditionally farm ancient stacks to recover. You can't have 2 heroes recover. That's not how Dota works nowadays. You want Darkseer shoving lanes, TA traps all over the map. Let Miracle Sven go his Midas build, get to a point where he's comfortable taking fights. A BKB is necessary if you want to engage against PSG.LGD. They, of course, have the 22 last pick. Their mid hero is still available. I could see a universe where it was a core Jakiro, but Rubik, of course, one of the hardest counters. And surprisingly, they actually picked Rubik, or Jakiro into Rubik.
Yeah, and with this TA last pick, immediately comes to mind is Roche for Liquid. I'm thinking to myself, LGD,
that's a good point.
We've got pretty good contests, but we need a hero that matches the pace, because Lifestealer is most likely going to go the Midas Radiance build. He might look to mix it up this game, but the TA can threaten the Roche before that happens, so you need to be able to fight them head-on with 4 heroes, and this hero needs to output the damage. And there you go, the lane counter, last pick, Cheese Huskar, one of my favorites.
You talk about a 22 pick, all right? Like, this is
ready to slam jam, baby.
It's not even Cheese anymore, right? We've seen it long enough. enough. But this, you crush TA in the laning phase, and Weeha, he needs to get ahead in this game, and it's going to be so difficult, especially the way maybe he's been performing.
Wow, okay, so for anybody who's not used to seeing a pick like this, why do we see it here?
Well, you already had good lane matchups between the Lifestealer, Darkseer. You had the Sven's probably going to be pressured by the Centaur, and now you're just looking to snowball the mid lane. And if you have all 3 lanes won, it's pretty hard to win in competitive Dota, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, and Liquid, they kind of need to win the lanes because they aren't going to be able to recover. PSG.LGD, they have so many stuns. They get a bit of a lead. It's the perfect game for a Huskar, but you've just got 4 killers surrounding you, and you can leisurely choose a target however you wish.
Yeah.
Now, very quickly, I do want to ask before we get down to business in this game, Kyle, how do you view the win conditions of each of these teams?
Oh, Liquid has to be fast. They need a lead. They've got to find a way to get their lanes at least even. Ancient stacks, and more importantly, map control. They want to take towers early so that they can take away the Radiant jungle.
Now, one of the best ways to peer into how a team thinks that they are going to win is going to be talking to their coaches. And lucky for us, Casey is standing by.
All right, I want to ask you about a few of the picks that we just saw. LGD last picking Huskar. They also got Centaur again, which was a huge key to the first game. What is your reaction to that?
We kind of expected them to last pick Huskar in this game, but I feel like it can go both ways. Like, for example, Temple has some good stuff against Huskar, but Huskar also has some good stuff against Temple going. So the Centaur pick, the Centaur in the last game really performed, so I don't know. It really depends how the players will play and press buttons and everything.
Anything can happen at TI.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, back to you as we get to the game.
Well, let's get it on. Let's press some buttons. Let's have some TA versus Huskar Sind. No IOs. Completely ignored, but don't worry. You get yourself something quirky with the Huskar.
Yeah. That's the power of having the last pick, is that sometimes you can come up with something like this. But I would say lately in Dota, over the last months, Huskar, even when he has a good laning stage and has good games, this hero has trouble a lot of the time. I don't think Huskar is nearly as strong as he used to be in certain patches. I'm hearing a stun.
It's just down the bottom lane. It's Xnova saying hi and walking away.
But like RMN is pointing out, this matchup is not exactly that one-sided. It's one-sided in the early part of the laning stage, but what TA has against Huskar later is she has massive physical burst damage. One thing Huskar doesn't like to face is hard burst. He wants to take advantage of the regen. However, now that he has a disarm, he can also, both disarm the Sven and the TA before they get their BKBs with that inner fire. So the matchup has become more interesting, I would say, than it used to be. But I would still say I'm expecting Somnus to absolutely win the lane, and then it's just about how hard he wins and what Weeha can do out of it.
I still want to keep my eyes very closely up on this top lane. Mind control. And he actually splits Liquid with the stun, but FY still gets the rune, but the burn damage from the Iron Shell and the range damage from GH is enough to get the kill, which means they'll claim the opposite bounty rune. But this is the lane which only Team Liquid is making work. A Darkseer in the off-lane, it's a huge combination, maybe not that great against Lifestealer, but Liquid, this isn't the first time they've even run this lane versus a Lifestealer. They've done this exact matchup before.
And they're running it with a Rubik, and the logic here is you just push out waves. You put Iron Shell on the creeps, you have the Fate Bolt to push an additional amount, and then after you push the wave, you can either go and stack jungle camps, or you can pull the next wave.
Oh, that's a nice Storm Bolt on bottom lane. Catching an Xnova as well as Charles. Xnova's copying a lot of damage. Is the ET. We've seen how powerful he's been throughout this competition. Xnova, how much life have you got? Kuro, he's running out that bonus damage. It's only got a 1 second left, and if you can punch into Xnova, maybe they got enough damage. Charles trying to play it around the tree lines. Xnova does actually get the kill on Kuro before his death. Charles may have actually liked that the other way around if you can get solo experience, but you'll take what you can get.
Considering the circumstances there, I think you're pretty happy with the trade as Jakiro overall. That looked like the exchange was not going to favor them, but really good play in the trees by Xnova gives them the trade-off. Mid lane? Wait, why is Rubik so... Oh yeah, he got first blood. I was like, why is he so rich? I was thinking, how many CS did he take away from the Darkseer? But yeah, now is when it gets tricky in mid. Somnus has...
Oh, bottom lane, Miracle. He's in a little bit of trouble, gonna land the Stormhammer. Once again, Kuro finding a large chunk of damage for that ET, hitting it into Xnova. I think some Jakiro fans will be sad it's not FY on that hero, but still Kuro, my god, he just doesn't want to stop, but now he's run out of damage, and Kuro is just dragging Charles Xnova away from the wave.
He got a bit too far ahead of himself. He has 30 seconds cooldown on TP, and LGD know this. That's a pretty big death. And what I was getting at is that in this mid lane now, this is how Huskar wants to play. He wants to stabilize the lane, get it on top of his own hill, and just deny. He lost control a little bit though, so there will be some experience coming the way of Weehaw, but maybe it's on purpose.
But Weed's over in the jungle. He's not even near that mid lane, so he's going to miss out. And that's quite a big miss when you miss out on 2 range creeps.
Absolutely. I think Somnus identified that Weehaw is playing, well, obviously he's playing jungle. He isn't in the lane, but maybe took a chance on how far Weehaw would be away and pushing it up just at that time. It's a really big loss for Wee.
Mind Control continues to contest this top lane. FY doing the best he can to pull. Looking for the denials against Mind Control. As GH made his move in towards mid lane. That is one person who can stand back in this lane.
Right. They can put the Rubik here, and he can just take some CS with Fate Bolt every wave, and Darkseer can get what he can top, but without help up here, once FY hits level 3, there's actually kill potential. So all you can do as Darkseer at that point is cut waves, and you see FY blocking up the big camp, nicely done. Mind Control will be forced to play in the lane into Ame, and that's where Lion can come in with those 2 long duration lockdowns and maybe set up a potential kill later on. He's just going to be pulling. Mind Control might even retreat to the jungle at some point because this feels kind of like a checkmate situation. Top, you can't pull, you can't stack, and you can't cut the wave.
Yeah, and
so,
if you just Iron Shell the wave, Ame will farm it underneath the tower.
Yeah.
So even that push doesn't help you.
Yeah, he used 2 shells on a wave that isn't even going to touch a creep. That feels really bad. And this is because FY has pulled the small camp. Mind Control was hoping that these 2 Iron Shells would get him 2 or 3 CS. But instead, he gets pretty much absolutely nothing. He'll get a little bit of experience from this creep wave coming his way. Yeah. But he's out of resources.
He needs that. He needs the Soul Ring.
Yeah, he's currently hovering both bottle and Soul Ring. I'm guessing he will go the Soul Ring route.
He can play the bottom from the side, Miracle. That's a lot of damage from the dual breath, making him just think twice about moving closer towards Charles.
Kuro has a South Ring.
And he does. Kuro's also got a decent amount of damage. With the movement off, Jakira's moving towards the bottom lane, looking for a rune. He's found a haste rune. Probably going to have a bit of a peek over and see what Weeha's up to.
Yep. Exactly.
As Weeha does not want to lose that big Dark Troll. Xnova's watching him for it. It's like, all right, do you want to attack him? All right, you ready? Yeah. Got him.
We got it.
And now, Xnova, he hung around a little too long. GH has a pickup, has Fable available if he has to consume up the Mango. Weeha doesn't have a slow to work with, but Xnova, and he got the dual breath off, so Weeha doesn't have the movement speed. Xnova's going to come towards the tower, and Weeha, he's really chasing for this kill. This will be his first for the game. And Weeha even gives him a tip. It's like, thank you for making me work for it. Oh, nice stomp. Spirit's down as well. Charles, well, he's not going to be able to get the rune from this. And what's Kuro really got? Miracle. It's a lot of damage. They war cry up. Xnova now arrives. It's 3 heroes with that dual breath. And Liquid feels like they have to back off, and rightly so.
He has the Surge, so the Hex will not counter him off here, and he will get away. And he got a rune up here, so Liquid got 3 for 1. And that kill for TA. That's pretty good overall for them.
He's just banking. He's got 1,300 gold on this Darkseer for the moment.
He's gonna buy Soul Ring and a Raindrop.
Okay. Meanwhile, there's also mass observers and sentries coming out in that courier. So how do you feel like the timing is going at the moment? Kuro. Let's not talk about timings. Kuro needs to run for his life in the trees. This won't be the first time he's died running away from both Jakiro as well as Centaur. May not be the last. So how are you actually liking the timings? Like, you had 3 kills on the board, golden experience. It's a little bit the way of LGD, but no one has a clear outcome. Who does this really work well for?
It's working out well for LGD, but this is how I feel like every Huskar game is. It's like, have a good start, but if you have 1 or 2 bad fights, the hero just falls off really hard, in my opinion, in most games. So,
but he used to be known as the guy who needed like the Aegis, right, to actually stand in the fight. So is Roshan something they look towards, or is there other ways to ensure the fight?
They will absolutely want to get Roche later on. But you also usually, historically, have played Huskar with some sort of save so that you can keep him alive and make sure that Regen kicks in classic combos of both Oracle and Dazzle. But there's not a single save on LGD in this game, so if you go in and commit as Huskar, you're not really getting out again outside of a Stampede.
My control is totally fine. He actually left the double iron shells up there, so he was getting experience in farm. They weren't really ready for the second one to come from the trees.
LGD are pressuring Miracle really hard. It's actually so far away from the Midas. Lifesteal is having a much better time than him. 400 gold ahead currently. And we also have to remember that Kuro has kind of sacrificed his game more than the supports of LGD have as well. Chalice level 6. And they're just not letting Miracle breathe. Every time he goes for a creep, they cast all their spells on him. And he's so low now that he's probably going to have to go to Shrine Up.
10 stick shot
already been used, so he can't even do that. He's playing down here with low health and a pack of tangos.
Not a lot to fight with. But as you said, like, okay, Sakura sacrifices himself, but you are getting a lot out of GH because you've put Weeha into the jungle. He's taking all of these stacks. Yes. He's only 500 net worth behind that the Husker, and keep in mind, these aren't lane creeps. These are jungle creeps, and they're not even ancients. Now FY comes a little closer. He's underneath the TA trap. It'll trigger. GH has to get the telekinesis if they're going to get this kill. He actually goes for the attack. He doesn't go for the instant grab.
They're worried. They think there's more heroes here? Or not completely sure what he was scared of there. Maybe he must have thought there was some sort of backup coming, and they backed off.
I can tell you it wasn't Haskar, but maybe now he'll come. There's a double damage rune, so Somnus can have a bit of a peek over and see what Weeha's up to.
He's got a TP.
Yeah, they're looking for a bigger kill. Kuro, yeah, drop as well. Miracle's coming over. With the Stormhammer, as Kuro will put Chalice to sleep, but that double damage Somnus, Miracle doesn't see him. If he runs up this lane, he's totally dead. He has to get back behind the T1 tower right now. I think Kuro might have got a glimpse of him. And yep, they definitely see him now. Kuro cannot have enough time to get the stomp off of Miracle to the trees and the TP. They need to offer a Stormhammer too, and then begin the TP out to save Miracle. The Burning Spears will not be enough damage to kill him.
Now Xnova's going to skill Ice Path. Yep. You just know it. It's like, oh man, if only I had Ice Path.
1 point. I just need a 1 point. I think you're short the banner too.
I had stick charge. It would have been enough, but yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to. Oh,
GH instantly jumped. He's able to steal life break and then try and turn the damage back over, but that won't happen. Uncertain what he was looking to achieve in this bottom lane. Kuro as well as Miracle were a long way off.
And I think this is the first game on Jakiro that I've seen from Xnova that he doesn't skill Ice Path before level 5, but he just needed the attack speed slows in the lane against Kuro, so he maxed those two out first. And against Miracle, Dual Breath and Liquid Fire just amazing against this dual lane in particular.
And when do we see Weeha have an influence? Huskar rotates, and with the help of Centaur, they take a tier 1 tower instantly. Like, Weeha's been spending all this time in the jungle. He's building into the Desolator. There has to be a purpose here. There has to be an enabler.
Well, you're playing Sven and TA, and you lost your lanes, so you can't really do very much right now.
So when you look at just recover until fight?
Yep. There are just very few plays available on the map. If you look at, you have to try to play catch-up, right? But it's not easy. Now you lost 4 bounty runes because your heroes can't really fight. And it's a strategic problem for Liquid in this game, absolutely. I would love to see them make moves, but which move would you suggest? They have Darkseer to play around with Ion Chill. He can try to fight with Miracle, but Miracle lost his lane pretty hard.
And Miracle may die. The smoke maneuver from LGD. And get your life break forward. Miracle gets a quick stun out. Xnova, hey, Ice Path up and running. GH will end up stealing that. Maybe create space. No, the Dual Breath. It came out, so he can't create any level of space. And just back up and accept the fact that he's dead. 10.5-minute Midas is also completed on Arme for his first usage. So the money for the cause, the 1 positions, really starting to separate heavily. 3.2k to the 4.8k.
Liquid just needs to keep pushing lanes. I think Miracle has to accept that he has to jungle, and you can either put the Darkseer, maybe put the Darkseer bottom and Sven top, but because Lifesteal is so far ahead, I think he's also going to struggle up there. So he's kind of limited on where to go. They need to just push waves out, try to get 1 or 2 key items. I think what you want to get is you want to get the TA Deso, and you want to get maybe 1 item on Sven, but he's going Midas, so that's also going to take forever. It's just, there's not the best pairings for Darkseer early game. You know, Liquid have played it with the Ember, they've played it with the Alchemist. Sven is a slower version where you need level causing vacuum, and you ideally want to...
Here we go. Arme walk straight into the put. Yes, they do. Dead for 30 seconds without buyback available. And this will be an opportunity. Zed push. Chalice will arrive.
That was the best possible.
Going in. Wait. Chalice coming back closer. He's trying to play around with them. There's still Iron Shell burn damage, but Chalice is drawing the attention away. Meanwhile, X-Nova thinks about his rotation, but so does Kuro. Everyone looks so glowy. Chalice, open wound, stolen by GH. Here's the Storm balled out. Chalice, what's he want to do? Miracle staying with him. The Storm Hammer's already been committed. And with the extra support arriving from LGD, 4 heroes come to the top lane. But Kuro's Spirit, it comes in, and the Stampede comes forward. And what if he got stolen? It's only the double edge stolen. That's not exactly what GH wanted. But X-Nova is with the Ice Path. Miracle doesn't have the movement speed anymore, and the Spirit's being pulled back in again. You do have ET Splitter, and Surge is coming off cooldown. So a lot of commitment from LGD, and all you got was the Rubik.
I love that detail from Chalice, though. I agree, it wasn't the best of a fight. They only got the Rubik kill, but he stampedes and instantly double edges a creep next to him to make sure he knew GH was waiting for that stampede to try to steal it, but he was just faster on the fingers there with getting the double edge off. Secures them that kill. Liquid, however, they will be putting pressure on the mid tower, and defense has to come in now. It's coming in through X-Nova with the Macropyre. Should be able to hold this. He might need help from +1, and that's coming right now. Centaur will join. No Stampede, though.
Weeha really wants to finish this, but because he's overstayed his welcome, Chalice pounces with X-Nova. They put him down. FY doesn't have the mana for a finger, but now he does! Goodbye, Templar Assassin. LGD go from taking the Tier 1 tower on top, now bearing down on the Tier 1 tower in mid.
That was surprising that that LGD stayed for that. Ichi Gaming? Nope, they're not in the tournament anymore. LGD actually... Liquid just kept going there with the Centaur TPing in and Jakiro in position, and they were only the TA and the Sven. These two heroes right now, they are not a threat. The threat in this game is Darkseer. He's the one enabling the Sven plays. He's the one that gave them this top kill in the tower. If you're without your Darkseer and you try to go into Centaur, there's no way that's going to work.
If the Desolator was done, it might have been a very different scenario, but...
Weeha barely got to attack. I think he would have died anyway. So a bit of a blunder, and this gives LGD an even bigger lead now to 4K gold. Keeping the ramp up. Ame is not going Radiance. He's Armlet completed in about 100 gold, so that's another big power spike for them. But
I love this from
nice power kill.
With the Ice Path, they keep Chalice away from it, so we can't deny it.
This is, in my opinion, this is one of the absolute best spells to steal in the whole game. Like, not in this game, but in Dota in general. Ice Path on Rubik is insane. You have no cast time. You have the longer debuff amplification with the Arcane Supremacy once you start skilling that up. And GH, if Liquid are going to win this game, look for that spell in fights. You can get it.
They messed up the smoke a little bit, but Chalice is going to come out anyway. They saw him move inside the pit. He'll move a little bit further north. Templar Assassin wants to fight. He has the double damage through, but what are you going to do? Go into Roshan? They have to bait the fight. GH wasn't caught inside the smoke. That's why they feel a little bit less confident about this. Ice Path doesn't catch Chalice. It feels like Liquid are just like, they're throwing their fishing rod out there. Forgetting to hold onto the handle, however. Nothing's biting. Oh. No jump forward from Weeha, even with the surge up.
3-for-1 rune. LGD.
It's the Huskar who's not involved. Something you don't normally think you'd say 15 minutes into a game. Normally it's Huskar who's the one jumping forward. Somnus has 2 kills to his name, but he's building into the BKB first before it looks like he wants to fight.
That will be a crazy timing for LGD, because if he has BKB before the TA and the Sven does, he can just jump in with 0 risk. He can always just use the disarm if he's in trouble.
Stampede, they're coming forward. GH picks him up. He's probably able to steal Stampede, but as you said, he doesn't want it. He wants Ice Path instead, as Chalice walks away underneath the ET Spirit.
I don't want it. Yep. Indeed, I mean, even though there's only 1 minute left on Ice Path, you see the prioritization there from GH. He thinks it's all.
There needs to be help with Miracle. Ice Path, finger. Once again, Liquid, they just have one player who's a little bit over into LGD's territory.
They were not ready at all for that play to come in from LGD. Another Ice Path will connect.
Connects over on, and then you get 2 back from GH. So you can lower a little bit of the damage of Chalice, but Somnus has joined the fight. Denial of the tower there from GH.
LGD, it's a little bit of a thorn in their side this Rubik in this game, getting that deny as well, but I think they're still feeling pretty good about their chances. All of their cores are having a great game. Lion also having an outstanding game. Even the Jakiro, Xnova, who we generally see be really poor, when he's playing this Jakiro, you just get that extra farm that you don't see on other 5s. He's up to 31 CS, very high for him 16 minutes in. Has that extra 1k gold over Coral. And that can either be converted into a core item like a Force Staff that he's building right now, or it can just give him superiority in terms of the sentry game.
So much confidence from LGD when you switch into Halberd for Somnus. No BKB protection required. They feel confident.
But there's a big timing coming up for Liquid at least. The Templar Assassin is getting Dagger after these 2 camps in the jungle. Sven's close to Echo Saber, Darkseer's close to Mech. When all of these items align, Liquid will try to take a fight, I think, because you can't just keep playing the map like this. You will get caught off once in a while, and it's too expensive. You need to fight for the Roshan and not let LGD take that on the Huskar. They might be playing kind of a game of chicken, like around this Roshan pit. Who wants to try to go for it first and then you counterplay?
It's gonna wait inside the pit. Charles is coming in there to try and get rid of the TA traps. They have a sentry ward nicely in the middle, but it's funny because that Radiant sentry ward is in range of the Dire Ops, but they can't cross the river. Hey, that's where 2 of those deaths from Team Liquid happened.
I'm not even sure they know there's a ward there. Have they had vision there for a while? It's nighttime.
They haven't walked close enough to it since they put the sentry down.
Their ops doesn't see it though. Liquid don't know, right?
I don't believe so, no. If they did, GH would have gone for that money a long time ago.
Well, it can be dangerous to go and deward this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
like, I'll steal the regeneration rune. He's keeping his distance. Aether lens first from the Rubik. It's the same for the Lion. They both want to be these great players from the back lines. But it always feels like FY's hitting up everything. He comes again with the Hex and the stun. That refraction won't protect him. Xnova, the perfect chain stun with the Ice Path and Weehard, refraction, meld, still sits and burns.
That Aether lens and Lion. Weehar was trying to play around the possibility of getting jumped from the side. He probably had his finger on the dagger in case of an Ice Path or in case of Lion walking into Hexen, but that lens extra range, FY gets him from the trees.
LGD's going in.
And that's go time, yep. No TA for 25.
GH is trying to reach the Jakiro, but it feels like Xnova is playing just close enough but far enough away.
This has a full halberd. Sven can't even fight into him unless they get a perfect combo.
Here comes the ET Spirit. GH, what's he got? Stampede forward. He only got Mad right now, the Lion. Not what he was searching for. The Ice Path, not in the best position, but with a finger of death, that won't matter. Rubik can buy back into the game. Roshan down at 3.2k. TA's up in 2 seconds time with that Blink Dagger. It's quite possible to contest Roshan. But do they have enough with the surging forward of the Darkseer? No, it's just Arme. He's creating space, allowing him to go in for Roshan, but Huskar hasn't finished the job. Roshan coming out of the pit. He can't be attacked there. They jump in the double stun with a clean damage. They've already gone through 2. Santor and Jakiro will fall. Miracle wants to finish Roshan with that God Spray. Something tries to push him back. Aegis Immortal is in the hands of Miracle, just like game 1. But this time around, LGD may not be able to get out of the pit. They create some copies. Challenge comes in close. A great double hooks up. More space being created by Kuro. He brings in a lot of damage himself with the Stormbolt. They're able to just keep Challenge in position. Huskar's already down. TA refusing to fight back. Kuro trying to run back out this one. Miracle back to life thanks to the Aegis Immortal. And that's going to be wasn't that the best case scenario for Team Liquid?
Yeah, I would still call that a victory. Oh, there's a Hex, but he got the rune already, FY. He's going to back off.
Is it just because you don't have the Aegis on the Huskar?
Yeah, you're pretty happy with that. Like, the whole sequence leading up to this, with the kills, with TA dying, with GH dying, and having to buy back.
There's 2 buybacks as well from the Centaur and the Jakiro.
Yep, you got a core buyback out of LGD, and you got the Aegis. You also got the Roach kill, right? It wasn't the steal.
It was Roshan killed, yeah, by Radiant.
So, all things considered for Liquid, that's not that bad.
Oh, Darkseer, once again, this Aether lens of FY comes into work. 8-1 charges are available. Darkseer able to get the surge, mind control, getting some distance. And now they try and turn around in for the stop. Arme, he committed the rage, and Miracle will come in with the Iron Shell. They'll get these great step chain stuns. FY, he's going to split the fight once again, but Arme, he's armlet toggling his way to safety. Weehart needs to chase him down. There's your burst damage. Arme still continues to toggle, and the impact into the catapult. Liquid, they really want Arme, but they may have to settle for FY. He's still worth quite a lot, however. But it's not what you came for.
It's a kill nonetheless, and you have to remember that whole sequence started because they tried to go on mind control. So when you consider mind control survived and they got a counter kill, it's pretty decent. But the same time, LGD, of course, they weren't there with their whole squad. It was just 2 heroes pulling, 3 or 4 heroes. I don't remember even how many Liquid had there, but it took them really long and they started rotating around. Huskar and Centaur in the meantime, completely free farming and keeping up, building up these items. And we should remember, Somnus, by buying this halberd that he did in the last fight, didn't have BKB. It's going to be his next item. And when he hits this timing and gets an Aegis, things get really scary. So the next big objective of the game again is going to be Roche, but it doesn't spawn until in 6 minutes, so there'll be a lot of items on the field.
I'd say we have some time, but LGD smirk up. They're coming for a hunt. No Blink Dagger just yet over on Chalice, so there's still no jump ability from LGD. Something we haven't actually seen at all. Defensive infest, sure. Aggressive, not yet. Mind Control's going to surge himself straight in the middle of them and walks away with the stun. The range is too good from FY, hits the finger of death. The damage on the Mind Control. He doesn't have time to stop being a fish. And now the Blink Dagger is here from the Centaur. Arme, do you want to hitch a ride? Good driver.
I don't think there's any reason to do anything right now except get this bottom tower. Want to start LGD, that would be pretty dangerous. I think you absolutely wait for an Aegis before you think about going that route. So they're going to spread around the map again, maybe get an aggressive ward out in the enemy triangle if they can get over there. Somewhere in that area would be nice, but maybe they'll catch Miracle.
And TP come towards the top lane under the dire Ops and Sentry. They feel very, very comfortable, but you do have FY, maybe in no man's land. As it is daytime, they see FY quite clearly, put him to sleep, and then jump. A chance coming in. He's got a surprise. Package delivery for Team Liquid. Will you receive? They will. Miracle. The damage is so huge, but then he turns around with it. With the Dark Steel Wall, the Ice Bar, Nova, everyone just stops and looks at each other, frozen to the bone. But now Husk looking for his own fight, but GH, he's killed Stealer, the stop, Arme on almost no life, now turns to Weeha, he doesn't have the sustain, he's disarmed, he can't attack, down for a minute. Both down for LGD. Arme and Somnus running away from... And Team Liquid finding that big combination. It feels like it's starting to work from Team Liquid. That's back into a big Stormhammer, into heavy damage, even when Miracle doesn't have the heavy damage. He's just an Echo Saber and Midas.
Yeah, but the big items are coming out from Liquid too. They're close to BKBs on both TA. Truly game-changing items, because that's something Huskar is just not very good against once BKBs.
The sustain's getting through the roof too. Darkseer, he plays this the old Aura kind of style. Vlad's is done. The mech's available, GH on the Rubik. We already saw how amazing FY was in game 1. With this Blink Dagger, he's now been even more enabled. And we see this whole fight, the disarm just wrecking apart.
The Surge is also extremely important to keep in mind against the Lifestealer in these fights. Whoever Lifestealer goes on gets surged away until he has either a Nullifier or the hero is stunned by Lion or the Centaur. So in that fight, Miracle ended up kiting Lifestealer for a good 5 to 10 seconds behind the tree line. Just couldn't get on top of him properly. That's what Lifestealer wants. This hero hates playing against Surge. He hates playing against Force Staffs.
And that's exactly what's in the group buy.
Yep.
Need a little bit more time for TA to finish that BKB. Actually, well, with this creep wave, we'll now have the money. So BKB for Sven, BKB for TA, and now also BKB for Huskar. So hey, everyone gets a BKB. Look under
by default.
And he's going to get a second one as well. Through Rage as well as item.
Yep. Not fully convinced that that's the right choice in this game for Amit to do. I get what the idea is, that these fights are going to be long and you want to be able to do something outside of Rage and sustain. But the trade-off is that you lose a lot of damage that you could have had by going an AC route or a Nullifier, Centaur to kill up, like blow up. Pretty much anybody that you could find. But he is committed already with the Mithril Hammer. He's not going to commit to anything else.
Sentry ward when the smoke happened. It was LGD aware. They even hit the scan. Nova from Team Liquid. In the trees, he'll come down and kill it. It's like, well, if you want me, come at me, bro. The TA trap will trigger again, sitting behind the tower, and the rest of LGD smoked up, moving in. The Stormhammer is already over with a crisscrossing of the ice pass. Somnus will jump forward. Miracle, he needs protection, having the damage against Somnus, and the pickup. They catch out the Jakiro. The ice pass will be removed by Weeha. Mel striking down X-Nova. Up the hill to put that BKB to use while the initiation. The from Towers, and the double stun. The backwall combo won't hit enough. In fact, the disarm on TA. She has to run away. The BKB cannot protect her.
The last attack from the Lion is going to kill her. She would actually survive if not for that one attack.
He doesn't even have the plus 90 damage.
Was surged up, was BKB twice apparently.
You can't.
Man,
sure.
What a spell combo from LGD there. The original jump when they force out the Sven BKB and reset, Liquid feel good about themselves and feel like they can play round 2 with the Huskar BKB going on cooldown. But they reconnect, and that jump was just excellent from Chalice. The jump on his own shrine, getting the information from the Observer Ward earlier.
So now LGD try and take control of the North. Anything that helps understand where Team Liquid's coming at them, even an infested Descentor, not just control. If Roshan will be in 15 seconds.
Spawning super fast. This is almost minimum spawn time. I believe the clock just ticked over, so... Oh, they have a trap in the pit, so they will know it first.
Miracle can't even join this. His TP is on cooldown for another 17 seconds. And LGD, they're hovering around this tier 2 tower. So Liquid just trying to...
But they might find a double damage for the Sven. He's not looking there, though. No, it's a
Dire Observer Ward. This actually no, it's still a little. No, it's he's planting more and more traps around.
Sees it now. He's going to walk into this DD. Liquid might either of these two.
Who wants it?
Nobody yet. Is there a bottle coming?
There's a Rubik coming. That's all. You ain't giving it to him. So Roshan's up, but with Liquid having the trap, the second LGD begin it. Liquid will know, and they're going to smoke up the double damage room. But of course, again, the Observer Ward is just. How many times must Liquid smoke underneath this? And look what LGD do. It's like, oh, we'll sit underneath our Observer and Sentry. You take our side of the map and we'll take yours. Dire, well, the Courier will get sniped as it moves over the top of the Templar Assassin, revealing the fact there is the DD, but the Observer and Sentry. Someone needs to drop something right now. They dropped two, well, yeah, Observer Sentry down, but that actually got scouted out by the other ult here. Sent off, hooked up, Chalice! He blindly went into the trees. They thought he was in there. He was for a moment. Now the pick up and throw down. It looks like Liquid are uncertain if they really want to have this fight. Weeha hits the back lines, looking for X-Nova as well as FY. He's able to actually keep them controlled and actually get the kill on FY. Thanks to the stop, Jakiro is actually asleep in the trees. Miracle's trying to come through. The TA trap will get the reveal. X-Nova, Miracle actually dodging at least the ice path, but the finger from FY will bring down Sven. Kuro needs to go back into the top. Arme's protected by the rage, so he's fine. Quick buyback from FY. They still don't know that Roshan's up. TA set up a couple of extra traps in there.
And that was a good. He jumps in and forces the supports away and gets a kill on one of them. Forcing out the buyback from FY. This is what TA needs to do in this double.
Got rid of the ult.
though.
Defensive refractions available. Charlton. Back to farm, boys. Remember Roshan. Remember the bounty rune that you... Still another 2 on the bottom lane. But everyone's eyes are on Roshan.
Well, for now, Huskar closing in on an AC.
Love of this from GH. He's managed to steal a level 2 Finger of Death. So there's a little bit of extra burst damage that Liquid has to work with.
That's a lot of damage. That's not a little bit.
Spell amplification of 26%. You'll take it. Probably should also take that Sentry Ward while you've got the Spirit up there, but he's feeling a little cautious. Everyone's backing up. I'm not seeing a smoke right now on Liquid. The Radiant are scanning, and it does ping. It's Arme just farming up the Ancients. The TA traps are gone from Roshan, so the sentry ward planted down by X-Nova. In fact, 3 of them in a triangle watching anything around the river area.
They have pretty good control here right now. With the Solar Crest and Centaur, they also kill Roche relatively quickly with the Huskar. So Liquid should be feeling a bit of urgency of staying up here and getting up here in the first place, and they will connect, but obviously Huskar, in the meantime, pushing out and farming bottom, taking advantage of Liquid having to regain this area.
As long as Kuro can stay in range, you can at least keep checking Roshan, like sending the Spirit out. You can put down extra TA traps. Even if you do want, like, you see the TA trap in there, you have to enter the pit to get rid of it. And this is just great information, but you're putting him up on the hillside for the moment. As it becomes a 5v4 standoff in the front of Roshan. Huskar, as you mentioned, the only one not there. He's trying to finish the Assault Cuirass as quick as possible. While a heart is the choice from Ame. Attempting to become the immortal. Chalice this time around not caring about magical damage. He'll jump in. We'll see the TA trap. This is what we're talking about. Uncertain if he really wants it. GH gets to pick up and the back try to pull Chalice as far over to the Radiant side of the river as possible. The only thing you're missing was the ability to turn him around and force-stomp him over.
If they had a stun to connect with there, maybe they could have tried to go for a burst with the finger, but didn't get the opportunity. Sven was too far away for a Stormhammer.
And you need 25 on TA to get that meld bash.
Yep. He's getting there.
He is.
Level 21.
So is Sven. Like, what happens once he hits that plus 40 God strength?
Then he gets 40 strength.
That's a fact. Can't debate.
Man, this is so tense, right? Like, you can imagine what it's like playing for both of these teams right now with the limited vision that you have with the importance of Roshan.
Oh, that's close, Ame.
Just got a heart, though.
There's your blink up. GH starting with the Meld Strike.
Oh, that's
Put the heart to the test. The Ice Path off point, and the BKB, the 8-second one, burnt from Weeha.
They wanted to try to force something there onto the Lifestealer, but he got the heart and got instant force staff, and now there's no TA BKB in this fight. That's really, really bad news for Liquid.
And LGD's loving it. Baited into it, Miracle. As the Iron Shell's ready to go, you will need that jump from Mind Control. They back, pulling Chalice up the hill, not willingly dying. The ED splitter goes through Roshan, and look at him go quickly. Centaur has buyback available. Somnus jumps forward, instantly down to half-life. But he's looking for 2 of them. Through Roshan, hiding inside the pit is Ame. The Spirit continues to cause problems for LGD, and a huge buyback on the Centaur, but a double damage rune for Lifestealer. The 34-minute rune, they'll create a copy thanks to this Dark Seal Wall. Another ET Spirit, move in, range is available, Ame's not going to use it, he'll go to sleep. And break free instantly. Nobody wants to take the risk of really committing to Roshan.
If Liquid come back in this game, that vacuum is what started it all. That's such a huge kill. 3k gold swing, they force a buyback out on Centaur, and there is a risk of Chalice dying again.
Here comes LGD. The Infest is inside the Centaur. Chalice will be the sacrificial one. Rubik, he's just waiting on the edge. GH has Blink Dagger available, and Miracle, well, already hit. Somnus attacked over on the side. Centaur, you got a quick steal. What's going to be Ice Path? No, it's going to be Dual Breath only. LGD so pressured around Roshan, even Roshan fighting against him. The Clamp is like, would you mind not fighting on my doorstep? Get off my lawn. The Stomp, it won't connect properly. Macropyre is down. Roshan, 1.5k. If Liquid are going to jump, they're going to jump now. The TN track is the information. Stomp has actually got the Aegis, the Immortal. The back, pull him away for GH. Here's your grab. They catch the stun. LGD, Aegis and Cheese both being gained. The Cheese is on the Lifestealer, Aegis on the Huskar. Now they have Assault Cuirass and a ticket to push down the lane. They will look for this Tier 3 tower and Tier 2 tower in mid. And what does Liquid have to defend with? They have Miracle too far out under the Tier 2 tower. He'll turn for the stun onto the Lifestealer, but remember, he's got the heart. Armin doesn't care about taking damage. He even gave the Cheese over to the Centaur.
They push so fast, they have 2 siege creeps here as well.
Yep, up they come on the Tier 3. Rubik still doesn't want to buy back. Mind Control creates a couple of copies. Turn Ame and Somnus against his own team. Miracle looking to turn on the sound as here comes LGD through the mid. Rage has already been burned. Templar Assassins not joining this fight. Weeha's on bottom lane, still trying to push a Tier 1 tower. The fact, once again, Mind Control. He pulls up Lifestealer, the grab from GH. They want to hold him there with the BKB till bell from Ame. While he's got the rage down, Somnus stands his own ground. Remember, he's got the Aegis, the will it burn? He's far enough away, they give him the life.
The only big spell committed here is the God Strain.
Weeha's waiting, too close. The sentry ward was planted down, they saw his melt trap instantly disarmed, so Weeha couldn't attack.
God Strength is now on cooldown for a full minute. LGD, they might want to press the issue, knowing that this is off the table for Liquid. It's a big part of their damage. It's what makes the vacuum combo so strong.
They're backing off for the moment.
Yep.
Fresh items. Vlad's for the Centaur coming out. You do have a finished Solar Crest. Mind Control managed to get the Courier up and around LGD in order to get that back into his hands. LGD have the time, they have the Aegis, they have the cheese, but they also have this insane life stealer to be the front liner. Miracle is waiting up the hill. Surge him to get him away. They start the damage over into Somnus. As you said, without the God Strength, they have to work a little bit harder to get the early damage in. Somnus stands his ground, pushes him back. There's another disarm. Arme, they take the tier 3 tower. Somnus is low. Arme's close. The Mel Strike will also connect. Low on armor, but Somnus still stands his ground. There goes your melee rack. You see just how ineffective Liquid are until they pull him back with the back. Under a bell. Holy shit! Chalice! He gets the jump with a follow on Ice Bar. Liquid totally caught out. Somnus is low, but he's still got the Aegis. They haven't burned through it. The BKB protects the 4-star. FY! He just grabs Somnus, pulls him away. I got your back, and here we go. A reinsert, the Storm Bolt, the 3-man stop with the ET splitter. Miracle needs to hit, and now he can do so. 2 heroes down. Sentinel dead for a long time, but Arme will still stand his ground. He doesn't have the Aegis immortal, but that's why you got it from Somnus. He'll come back to life again, and where's your extra damage? Now he buys back the Mel Strike. How much knives have they got? Double 4-star. The support from LGD working so well for Team Liquid. They need to hunt a little bit more. Somnus pushes them away. They have the damage from range. LGD, you do take the mid lane of Rax. The buybacks are heavy. And when I say heavy, I mean heavy. 4 heroes. Back. Only Darkseer avoided it. But Liquid sort of hold.
They need to get something big in return here. If you can force buybacks out the other way, the game is still blown wide open. Was the cheese used in this fight? No, it's still on Centaur. Centaur never got it off. That could have made such a big difference. They get a buyback out of Xnova. It's not the best, but it's something at least. And Liquid, they will not pursue high ground. No, they're worried about getting caught. They're going to settle for bottom tier 1, mid tier 2.
Then someone will need to farm up that bottom. Mind Control. How does he make this hero work time and time again? He's able to reach with these backs and pull LG. The plus 75 vacuum AoE here also obviously assists, but always getting that one hit. Just Chalice maybe a little bit too far. Beautiful. The Demon Edge is coming towards Miracle.
It's the right item in this game for a couple of reasons. First of all, there's a Halberd on the Huskar, so he has evasion. The Lifestealer has evasion talent. And then Lifestealer is also going Butterfly, which Miracle's only seen the Quarterstaff, which could turn into a Bloodthorn. But it is a butter that Ame's thinking about.
I love this from LGD. They 4-man first. Huskar TP's out and then goes underneath an observe board. Oh my god, that's hacked. All right, cool.
Yeah, FY is pretty farmed.
Yeah.
It's the same net worth as the... Okay. Man has the same net worth as Darkseer. Minute 40. A hero that has twice his CS.
And now... Pretty damn hard, a level 3 finger with the +5.
Level 25, Sven level 25, takes the God Strength. The prize is there for either.
So that's now going to be 26 seconds worth of immunity for Arme. Beating into the tier 3 tower. Team Liquid still wondering where this fight's going to come from. Arme just doing it all himself. Sven doesn't want to fight, not until they get the combination.
Yeah, he needs the... Oh, he does have the MKB. Okay.
Now you get the meld hit bash as well from Weeha, so they get a little bit more control Without the buybacks available, Darkseer is the only one who has it. That's why they just buy up their items as quickly as they possibly can.
But once this wall runs out, that's a big tool gone for this defense for Liquid.
It's going to be a huge stun. But to catch Lifestealer without both of his immunities, it's unlikely. But LGD, they're giving respect to Team Liquid. They're not just going to barge their way up. Not yet.
So another butterfly being purchased. This one is for Weeha's TA. Also level 25, as we mentioned, with the melted bash. So has overtaken Somnus by a level. By the way, Somnus' level 25 is important in this game. The pure damage burning spears could be a big difference maker. I'm assuming he will take that and not the attack range, but you never know. Attack range is also 175.
Yeah. Liquid are coming out, just try and force the lane and give just that little bit of... Trying to wait out the 3.5 minutes. That's how long their buybacks are left on cooldown. And fighting inside the pace feels like the best opportunity. Wounds. They might be able to increase their sustain if they can just get Tor caught out by that. Maybe the easiest one. First sentries to be planted. Here comes LGD once more.
They are very well set up if he walks up on the high ground here. Milk bash.
Oh, and the stuns and the backup. Lifestealer instantly explodes. And now it's going to be the ice path. Buyback came in so quickly from the Lifestealer. But God Strength has been burned.
God Strength and Wall, but and BKB on TA. But this Lifestealer is not out of the... Maybe they absolutely need the God Strength, they probably do. That was kind of everything from Liquid used. The second life should be easier. He could even...
Send the clone out. F1 can get rid of that quickly. The ET stomp maybe. Maybe a little too early from Kuro. Doesn't slow down. They'll throw him away into the wall and be used to try and dissuade Arme. As he did burn the rage, but Somnus rise past to begin. And you got Miracle with Stormhammer, but Chalice staying close. He doesn't have any retaliate stacks up, but he gets the hook stop over on Miracle. Do they want to jump in a little bit deeper? The ice path, once again, this one's from X-Nova, and then the chain back. Chalice, he's in way too deep once more. They bring him down. The Rack's are still going to fall. Somnus taking care of that as Centaur will buy back into the game. He's walking his way forward, but Somnus caught a little bit too far around the back. But he never got the cheese off. Team Liquid have still got the lane of Brax. X-Nova protects himself inside the Ghost Scepter. Weeha once more. He'll jump forward towards FY, protected by the Ghost Scepter. He actually stopped the meld attack from connecting, but now into the trees. He gets his quick stun off, but GH has the range. He'll grab him, he'll control. It still feels like every time team have to sacrifice such a huge amount, but they may get the big thing here. Roshan.
This is a Liquid win for sure. They lost barracks, but the amount of buybacks that have to come out, it's more important at this stage of the game to force out these buybacks. The heroes now are way stronger, so...
This is so huge as well. This is the advantage of Templar Assassin. The trap comes up, they know that Rogue in for it. They have God Strength, as you said. They have the damage output, and this is an Aghanim Scepter upgrade. It's not a refresher.
Somnus not BKPing that ice path may just be his biggest mistake of the game. He could have maybe BKB'd and run it off, or maybe got out somehow with the help of his teammates, but in the end, ends up dying. And of course, Chalice's jump into the base to start it all off, maybe overextending a little bit. LGD, yes, you get the barracks, but at this point, Aghanim's now on Rubik for free. And we see the replay here is jumping. And I mean, yes, it's nice to jump on the Sven, but none of your teammates can connect. They're way too far away. He buys the time for them to get the barracks, and now he's going to buy back and start connecting back into the fight. And this is where Somnus, you can't BKB TP this ice path, you have to BKB that one, so that your teammates can go and help you. Not doing that, it gets blown up, and it's very easy for Liquid to run them down after that.
Just see that facial expression. It's like, guys, it's meant to be a little bit better. I feel a little bit more confident as well. It's like, I have some damage output. With the buybacks all being up in 5 seconds time, Liquid, they want to finish the Daedalus over on Miracle. It will cost him his buyback, however. They're checking the wars, they're checking the vision. LGD's had control of this map for a very long time. Liquid, they've only just started to remember what the jungle looks like. But Weehaw with a double damage ring would love an engagement. Puts the BKB in the backpack. And they smoke up. Well out of range of LGD's vision, but Chalice is waiting. Lifestealer is sitting inside of him. Ame ready to pop out. And Weehaw, how aggressive do you want to be? The TA trap, they'll see, the smoke will break. They understand the Chalice is in the tree line.
Somnus is the one guy in LGD that has buyback. He wanted to be Somnus so he can come back in the fight. For Liquid here with 4 heroes with buybacks, the only guy without it is Kuro, and that's just because of gold. He now has the completed Lotus Orb. I think that's new. I do want to say it's...
That way I could be wrong and you could be right. I like that movement from Team Liquid. They're just trying to guess exactly where they are. So the smoke broke, but it took them a cup combination. And GH is the man who has to go down to the bottom lane to defend it. He's actually buying boots of travel, so he's able to hold this wave back, keep it off the tier 4 towers, but then still rejoin the team, thanks to the fact the top wave and the mid wave have both been pushed in so heavily by Team Liquid.
He's going to travel top now. Liquid want to make a move.
But the creep wave's still inside the base.
Yeah, this is very telling, the fact that GH left. I'm surprised he didn't push out this one extra wave first before traveling up there, because
they're baiting.
It's not rocket science what's going on right now. It's super obvious for LGD.
And the TP has to come home. It's Weehaw who TP's home this time. He'll buy his own boots of travel, just one after the other. Yo, guys, we need someone who's a better clearance than just the Rubik. But it still feels like GH is critical to the initiation of Team Liquid. It's either the VAC or it's the telekinesis.
Yep, and the stolen ice path, which has finally now expired for GH.
Is
there
something
anything else he can steal that's cool this game? Stampede would be great. It's an Ag Stampede for him.
Yep. Well, obviously, you'd love Finger of Death with the VAC wall combination that they currently get, but that's a little harder to grab. Yeah. You'll still take the Earth Spike. That's
I still think Ice Path is the best spell to get. If he gets that, he's super happy.
Ends up stealing in a fight. Like,
every spell can be useful in the right. That being useful compared to Ice Path.
It's like watching Rubik steal Exorcism. I don't think I like this scenario. Alright, so Weehaw's taking care of the bottom lane.
LGD with good wards here. They know exactly what's going on.
But because they have sights in the hands of Team Liquid, and they're getting rid of all the extra vision.
Well, they didn't find all of them. They didn't find the one at the bottom rune.
Yeah, just on the other was in range. He's just got to walk around the corner to see it. This will be the last outer tower to be removed from the map. No tier 1s, no tier 2s for a couple of, like, well, let's get a little bit more. To their home. LGD still have all their tier 3 towers up, but Liquid down those buybacks from LGD. They do not want to have this fight yet. And they are not given the space. So much farm. The gold swing has just rapidly increased since the fall. It has plateaued slightly to Team Liquid. And they're going to take the 50-minute bounty runes as well.
LGD will be fighting for the next set of bounties. If nothing happens before that, they will definitely be fighting for those.
I think it's Courier Kill. It's got the Eagle Song of FY. So that's an E-Blade pickup from the Lion. Sure.
Yep, they have no nullifiers on Liquid side, so he can save cores now. That is a really, really important item here. When you have Lens, as Lion does right now, the cast range on... And that means that if Ame, for example, goes in and gets opened upon, he can just get E-bladed really quick. There's no... He doesn't have Stormhammer to spell, right? No, he has movement speed, Talon, on Sven.
Got a Blink Dagger as well, though, for Mind Control. Welcome to your jump in. Yep.
Yep.
And the Gem of True Sight is having to be handed over. Actually, is it? No, Mind Control's holding on to it. I thought he might give it to Kuro, but Kuro's at the back lines.
Yeah, he wants to hold on to that one.
GH got infest.
Well, is he going to swallow someone?
Oh, yeah, true. You can. Hey, Who can I take?
You could bring in the Sven into the middle of the fight and instantly die on Rubik.
Hey, he doesn't. Is that actually what they do? Because you instantly die on Rubik. But yeah, you don't have a blink there. Here comes LGD. They come out with the smoke breaking underneath the observer ward. Now mind control. He feels good. Spirit first. Charles is still ready to get his own jump out. Okay. LGD, then the buybacks, they're still not fully cooldown, but they will be in 10 seconds time. In the opportunity you're searching for. Mind control's back on the bottom lane for them. Doesn't have BTs to get back to the front lines. He's just got the search. Dom, a little bit off target. Miracle, able to grab the DD rune, and LGD when that rune was grabbed.
Would have maybe, they would have loved to have a bottle there. I think bottling this DD could have been really useful. You're 52 minutes into the game. I think one of Liquid's cores really should have a bottle. 4 runes, grab these DDs and find a fight later. I think maybe Weehaw buying a bottle now would be great. But he's prioritizing level 2 Boots of Travel. He already has the Moon Shard, and then he's pretty much maxed out unless he wants to replace an item for a Hex or Bloodthorn.
And LGD know if they just get this win, they get a rematch against OG in the grand final. They're on the edge. Maybe we actually see the history. BO3 that actually hasn't had a Chinese team. Still a tall ask. Double on the Elder Titan. Double damage has worn off, and Roshan will respawn in 10 seconds time, so we just keep the action flowing.
This one has everything. It's Roshan number 4.
It's a smorgasbord.
No, it's Roshan number 3, right? No, it's number 4. It's number 4.
Yeah, it's number 4. We had the Aegis buff up before. That's what Rubik was able to swallow. He still probably would want to have this Aeon disc before he starts to fight, but only a 2.7k surplus. That's okay.
I think the ideal
Here comes
thing,
Somnus.
If LGD somehow get this Roche, I think you want both the Axe and the Refresher on the Centaur. That would be absolutely huge for the game for them. It will give them so much more sustain against these engagements that Liquid are taking.
This is so hilarious.
And I wonder why Chalice isn't going Axe this game. It feels like a really good choice against this jump-in burst from Liquid. He could keep his core alive. But this time around, he's fancying the Shiva, of course, also a great item against these physical-based heroes. But the Axe would really be nice. Maybe he's just hoping to get it from a Roche.
It's like, I'll have this, but if we can get... GH out to him. Buyback surplus of 100. No one wants to lose the to yourself over as well. Actually going all the way back home. But the pressure's being applied to the bottom lane.
And now there's the potential for GH to bait, actually, in the coming fight with this Aeon Disc. If he gets jumped,
hey, he has
the
infest. You've got the...
I mean, I would love to see it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But he would be able to instantly, after the disc pops, he can force step away and use the Chi. Maybe bait LGD out of position, maybe make them use a BKB or 2, and then they can take the fight from there.
This is actually so stupid. He's pushing the lane out with a Fade Bolt. Be careful about going for the others. They Radiant Scanny because the stupid thing, like the last Roshan, both teams know exactly where the other team is. I'm on my high ground. Together the two shall meet at some point. GH is back. It's amazing that Liquid have kept that shrine alive. Basically, you still have the shrine behind Roshan.
It's actually crucial that that shrine is there. Managed to get in and take it at some point. There must have been an opportunity at some point to get in.
LGD will smoke around Miracle in the meantime, cleaning up the wave. I'm seeing 6.8k on this Ben. A 3-point to wrap around behind. Observer and Sentry are there. The smoke will break instantly. Reaction. GH blinks the other side. A quick pickup. They do not want to fight this one. Still Liquid. Roshan is still the primary objective. LGD know they will vision up on the high ground. Sven protected by the Lotus. Found their target. Weeha on the other side of Roshan, instantly exploded by the finger of death with FY. It was banged up, but now the TP come forward. Somnus is super up. He has the cheese. He has the Titanic. They just need to keep control, but the E-Blade protects him for the moment and gets him with the charge. They move themselves further away from the easy split of a Miracle. Where's your damage? Charles with another double hop stop, delivering in the life stealer. Will feed through Koro. The Fable control. Huskar goes down as well. They're still battling underneath the shrine. Darkseer, she get a good couple of copies, but where is your extra attack? The Fable into Centaur. The follow-up stun is there from GH and the Ice Bar. He can just chain this control over on the Centaur. They're waiting it out as long as the sleep will last. Centaur forced up, but still inside the Ice Bar. Jakiro pick up, thrown back down again. Another two-man done, combining with the Storm Hammer. Liquid, they're able to just continue to chain. Miracle, he needs to attack GH. It's the control gone. The triple kill for Miracle. The finger is split down from FY. Maybe they get a little bit more. They won the chase, searching forward. Arme, FY, the Ice Bar just an inch away from him, but GH wobbling himself forward. The rest of LGD, they've returned towards the fight. Now the Storm Hammer, Miracle catches two. They need to see him, however. FY, he's the primary target. The Ice Bar from GH, it controls the demon. They move over now towards Chalice. Will go down. 3 heroes without buyback. Team Liquid, now they have an opportunity. They can go for Roshan. They need to clean up their home and then push down towards LGD.
And I think there was even a moment you didn't get to see on camera. FY was chasing Miracle up the high ground over the Roshan pit to the south. Miracle had 200 health. Lion goes for the blind stun up the high ground, misses, and Miracle turns and kills him from full HP with a crit.
You have an Ags upgrade over on Sven. Hand of God, that fight took so long. The Hand of God's off cooldown in 10 seconds time. Everybody get a buff. Oprah, eat your heart out.
That shrine advantage. Liquid have the high ground and they have the ability to reconnect easier.
He grabbed the creep wave through the bottom lane. He's actually beating into the Liquid base. Liquid want to push. They don't want to have to be coming back right now. But he's going to start beating at the tier 4 towers with the double damage rune. He is quite a problem. Still has the BKB with the raid. Arme is trying to do this solo. He'll take the first tier 4 tower. He'll look for the second. TP's coming back. He'll raid. He'll try and TP out. He's on a wait now with the BKB. He can't actually hear it. He has to wait. Dance gets done. Now they need the damage to go. Arme, he fell into a creep. That can't be denied. But Liquid, they're going for the throne. They're going for the tier 4 towers. LGD, they don't have the numbers. Lifestealer, she'll try to do this solo. But Weeha finishes the job. Buyback, instantly available for the Lifestealer. The Ice Bar is good control from X Nova. They need to actually bring this down. The Fortress, the Ancient, is finally going to die. GG is called. Liquid have done it. 59. Against LGD, having 9 grand final slot against OG.
Optimization, individual plays, big decision making, I think in the end is what is going to cost LGD this game. The mistake on the enemy high ground bottom, Chalice going in too deep. The fight that they take here toward the end by not having eliminated that shrine, fighting around that area where Liquid are inherently at an advantage.
I love watching Team Liquid. They start this series in their booth, actually trying to get this crowd to chant out, "Let's go LGD." As they walk off the stage, they're like, "LGD, LGD." But Team Liquid, they are most definitely doing it, giving us one hell of a display of Dota back against LGD as they tie up the series 1-1.
There we go then, all tied up. Only one thing better than the lower bracket final on Championship Sunday, and that's a lower bracket final that goes to all 3 games.
Yes.
I am so hyped after the end of that. I was like, whoa, what are they doing here? I mean, it probably wasn't going to work, but it was worth a go. There's nothing else they could do but
what Armo's doing at the end, hats off to him. He's trying to buy some time.
It's ballsy, but there was nothing else they could have done at that.
The stuff they could have done was the first 30, 40 minutes of the game. But PSG.LGD,
that could have been very different.
Yeah, they're going to be kicking themselves a bit about how that one turned out.
Absolutely, yeah. Because it looked great for a while, didn't it, Cap? You're thinking, oh,
yeah,
they're looking great. Imperious, they picked the right heroes. It's the right game for them. They're ahead by miles. It's going to be a 2-0.
They got what they thought was the game-winning last pick in this Huskar, the counter to the Templar Assassin for the first half of the game. That's how that matchup, it's even worse than it used to be, especially with Huskar now being given this free disarm as well. It's just such a hard matchup, but Liquid just managed to persevere through that first 30 minutes and slowly but surely started changing the game until LGD, I think, eventually just cracked under the pressure. That bottom lane push was something else. Everybody watching that knows that that is not going to be the right play, especially with Roshan coming up, with the buybacks being used. LGD just tried to end it.
They ran in like one by one, dying. They get the racks eventually, but it's like life steal bought back.
A lot.
It was all over the place. That was a very poorly executed push.
That said, Grant, we haven't seen that many mistakes from either of these two teams in their last few games, but a couple creeping in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can feel the pressure getting. It felt like they had the game won, right? You already had one of the Raxes down middle. You're taking those last two bottom, and then you just overextend a little too much. And then we saw some of the Roche fights, like mind control, that one vacuum onto the hill, just slowing down the Roche fight. Liquid was just doing one by one little things, and they started adding up. And once you get to 25, the level 25 talents in that game, Meld, Bashit, and AoE Surge are completely game-changing.
I love the fact that you brought that up because Brian is waiting to explain exactly what happened in that turnaround. Brian.
A lot of people say that the graph of a Dota game says it all. And we're going to pull up the graph of that last game, and we're going to see here that LGD was looking clean the entire way. And we're going to pull up the clip of exactly when it turns in Liquid's favor. You guys talked about the high ground fights, but these aren't a sprint. These fights are a marathon. They have all their buybacks prepared for Liquid. And I can't even talk for the entire duration of this fight because it lasts such a long time. But they're going to get a lane of racks off this on LGD. But Liquid, backs against the wall, game 2, elimination, down by 13,000 gold, 37 minutes in the game. And LGD looks like they're going to get away scot-free here. They take the lane of racks. You're going to see here that they retreat. And what's going to end up happening here is Chalice is going to look to reinitiate on Centaur. And I don't know about reinitiating into 2 buybacks already from Team Liquid. And this is the beginning of the end, I would say, for LGD, as they get what looks a good counter initiation onto the Rubik, but he has buyback as well. And this is just showing how hard it is to end these games and why heroes like Huskar have kind of fallen out of favor in this meta, just because one little fight like this, no matter how good the game has been going, suddenly what ends up happening after this fight is Liquid chases them down, LG on the retreat, and even though Liquid lost a lane of racks, they're going to get a Roche off of it, and the entire pace of the game goes in their favor. And that one fight is enough to show that, like, even though that was the turning point, the rest of the game is just smooth sailing for Liquid.
There was an upward curve after that. Thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, we'll discuss the Huskar pick because it's an interesting pick for PSG. Probably not something Liquid thought would happen at the start of the draft. They said they did at the end of the draft, which is fine. Nahaz was actually looking at the stats between TA and Huskar, and surprisingly, perhaps, Huskar doesn't have a particularly good time, statistically speaking.
Yeah, I think that a lot of those were going to be the old Huskar, where he didn't have the disarm, and the old TA, where TA actually had a better lane. You could deny creeps using the refraction damage, so the matchup theoretically should be more one-sided. Doesn't really necessarily look that way. At least, I mean, it's very early game. Huskar, sure. I mean, can't mention the first 30 minutes.
I mean, I think he played it really well as well. There was several in that clip that Brian was showing where he's poking in and out all the time. He's taking the lane of racks. He's doing really well. He survived so many times. I think I said to Gods, like, what's that? Like the 6th time he's gone in and got out with like 100 health? He keeps like a Houdini back in and out. Eventually, he got caught out, though.
Yeah, that was, there was a lot of incredible plays on both sides. Both Somnus and Ame doing really good jobs with their heroes. Ame had some incredible armlet toggles throughout that game. But Weeha, I think, you know, just a shout out to him at being able to endure such a hard early game. Yeah. And, you know, once you're able to start making those changes, first it's the BKB, the game changes for you. Then it's going to be, maybe the MKB helps you out against the Halberd that you're going to be matched up against, but the level 25 talent really secures. TA, she gets a fresh breath of life, where she used to be considered like, oh, eventually she's going to fall off in the late game. But when you give any carry their own disable in their toolkit, they're going to be incredible. And that's what happens to Templar Assassin late game. And sure enough, PSG.LGD, I mean, I like this. I like that this is going to Game 3, not just because of the full series, but because it establishes well the narrative, right? That a lot of people would look back on last year and say PSG.LGD, they should have won upper bracket finals. They should have won the grand finals. They made mistakes. The pressure got to them. And the same thing happened in this game too. And will the same thing happen again in Game 3? Will it happen in the grand finals? Who knows? But this is an opportunity for LGD to be able to rectify the mistakes of the past.
Okay, let's check in with some statistics. First of all, the MVP for this particular game. You have been voting in your droves for the MVP for game number 2. It's not FY this time round. He won game 1. It's Miracle, upwards of 30,000 votes this time round. So that's becoming a little bit more popular, isn't it? Keep those votes coming in via the client and obviously vote for the favourite or your favourite player of each game. Statistically speaking, obviously, this one was a bit of a backwards and forwards long game between these two as well. So you expect the stats to ramp up a little bit, and as usual they do. Some 41,000 for Weeha on the Templar Assassin, which is some big TA games actually at this event. There was I feel like it was a TA record set in the group stages. I can't remember exactly, but it was most last hits, I think, on a TA at TI. There's too many TAs and TIs. But anyway, it's in there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, stats don't really matter too much at the end of a big game like that. It's all about the momentum, isn't it now?
Absolutely. I mean, some players obviously had great lines. You had Mind Control dying just once. You had Miracle putting up great stats, but teams aren't looking at who died, who got kills. Yeah. They're looking at the end result. And for PSG.LGD, you're thinking a win slipped away, and for Liquid, you're revitalized. You just played...
No, honestly, stop. I want to interrupt you, sorry. But do you think they let that slip away? Do you think they'll be thinking that? Or do they think, actually, that was always going to be a tough late game?
It was always going to be tough to break high ground, but they're the ones who had... the game control was in their hands.
Sure.
And they made the mistakes. Chalice particularly jumping in, reinitiating. Even when they're pushing the bottom lane, he's also the one who jumped in, forced a fight that they didn't need to force.
Yeah.
So very much so. Yeah, this to me, that game was PSG.LGD jumping ahead of themselves. Also, I think some bad itemization as well on Lifestealer particularly. So
do Liquid do it that way? Do they look at it and go, well, we got a bit lucky, guys, let's take advantage of that now? Or do they think, actually, we played really well. We played for the late game, we got it.
I think they worked hard to be able to force mistakes out of LGD, frustrate them as much as possible, and when that mistake was finally made 2 different times in going high ground, they capitalized on it really well. They punished those mistakes, and you know, I feel like a little bad for Chalice, because I feel like if they don't walk away winning this series, a lot of people are going to look to him, and he had such a fantastic game 1 and game 2.
Yeah.
Like game 2, he played very well.
30 minutes.
But it goes to show just like these little decisions, like just one moment in time can make everybody look at your game as just awful. And you know, that mid lane engagement, for example, he had a Lifestealer inside of him. That's not necessarily just all Chalice who's making that call, right? But he's the one who has to be the one to blink forward, and as a result, he's going to get a lot of the flack for it.
That won't matter if they win game 3, though. All would be forgiven, I'm sure, by the LGD fans, who consequently are with Casey and Slacks right now. Well, Casey and Slacks are with LGD. Whatever. Guys, are you enjoying yourselves?
We are, but I think we are here to help re-energize the crowd, give some words of encouragement, right? Yeah! Okay, what did you think of the first couple of games?
It just... you know what's cooking? Boom!
Very nice.
Very nice. Liquid.
Liquid.
Very nice. But I want LGD to win.
Okay, all right, I like it. You're just lounging over here. What are you doing? Is he hurting anybody? No.
We are all our strengths can hold him.
Yes, I like it.
All right, guys. Yeah, I got taught stuff before. We need the crowd to get energized for LGD. Can we do it one more time? What was that again?
LGD! Dong, dong, dong! LGD! Dong, dong, dong! LGD! Dong, dong, dong!
Well, it looks like the crowd is ready for LGD to take another one. We're going to see what happens, though, Casey. Tough times. Scary times.
Especially talking to you, yes.
Absolutely.
Scary times.
Thank you very much, guys. You look like you're having some fun out there with the LGD people anyway. They'll be doing a lot of cheering, I'm sure, in game number 3 to get behind their team, who have fallen to 1-1 right now and just one game away from playing in the grand final at the International. No small matter, of course. I mean, whatever.
Just for these teams, one game. They've all done it before, you know. No big deal, Paul.
Christ, my heart's thumping when I think about that. I don't know what they go through backstage in between these games. Just, you know, do they mentally? Do you think they actually stand there and they go, "We're one game away, guys. Like we can do this," or or is it more like, "Guys, don't talk about it. Forget about it. Don't think about the match. Just play the game." Which way would you guys prefer to be?
I feel they definitely say, like, don't think about it, whatever, but in the back of their mind, they're like, oh my goodness, it's a BO1. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Oh no, it's a BO1. We might get meepoed or something. Like, it's in the back of your head at that point now, because it's just one game, and Who knows? It's a lot of money.
I'll tell you. I'll be honest. I'm a choker, so I would much rather have as little pressure as possible on me. I would just be like, hey, you guys are just going to go out. You're going to have a fun time playing a pub.
Yeah.
Grant, are you a choker?
Nah.
You played competitively?
Nah, I was pretty good. You know, I was always a support player who just died and played sports, so I knew the blame was never on me.
God?
I get very nervous. My very first LAN final I played in Australia, my legs were shaking the entire
game. You don't
game.
strike me as a nervous guy when you play. I always think of you as super calm.
I was like the captain of my team. Everyone's looking at me. I'm just like, I'm shaking. And they're just like, oh, shit, we're going to lose. they didn't tell me at the time, but afterwards, we actually won. They were just like, wow, I can't believe we won.
They're looking to you for inspiration. And they look over, they're like, this quivering wreck. Oh, God, we're going to lose.
There's a reason I'm not playing up on this TI stage ball, let me tell you.
It's tough however you look at it, isn't it? For both sets of players now. You know, PSG have got that nervous kind of, oh, God, we lost the game. We perhaps should have won. Liquid, on the other hand, are kind of like, we've been given a second life, guys. Just enjoy it. Go out and play. Could be either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could also be Liquid like, oh, maybe we should have lost. Maybe LGD's the better team. Oh, God. The dread starts sinking in. It all just comes down to, I think a lot of it is, you know, I think draft for the third game in a series is always so scary. Right? Because you never know where you're going to get that last pick. And that's where
it's
like a lot of that.
Are we going to get mepoed? Are we going to get bruised?
Yeah,
something like that.
So
crazy.
much emotion goes into that last pick and like, oh God, do we believe in our draft? Are we going to be able to pull this out? Do they have an advantage? Is this a 70-30 just based off of draft? You know, there's so many things like that that could happen.
Yeah, because both teams did it, right? You had a TA, which I saw one other game, and then you had a Huskar. Like neither hero have been played like at all this tournament, and they just decided to pull it out on the loser bracket finals.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they've got for the third and final game, doesn't it?
I'm sure they've got something,
right? Yeah, I was going to say, is it going to be something crazy like a clock?
No, they probably want to win.
Poor clockwork. 4 o'clock. I think it's time we get our teams back out here into the arena as well for game number 3. If you're just joining us, welcome to the International 2019, the lower bracket final. We're all tied up at 1-1 between Team Liquid and PSG.LGD. The entrance to the arena, back in front of the adoring Chinese fans, pinning their hopes on LGD becoming first-time TI winners. Or are we going to get an all-TI final? TI final. You know what I mean by that? They've all played in the TI final before. Yeah. I had to clear that one up, though. So it's a mildly confusing statement. As these gents will get themselves settled, we'll get some more thoughts in just a moment from our intrepid crew here on the panel. But first of all, let's check in with LGD as they spoke to Casey pre-tournament.
那去年的 DPC 排行榜，老干爹是排在了第6。你们对于去年一整年自己的发挥和这个成绩还满意吗？
就我个人而言的话，对自己一整年的发挥都不满意吧。然后整个队伍的状态，就可能因为一些之前的影响，就肯定是整体来说都不太好嘛。
感觉每个比赛就都没有发挥好吧，打得不是很好。今年一整年都就一般吧打的。
那其实感觉这一整年很多选手都有比较大的进步。那你们是否觉得在 TI 8之后，心态上面有没有一些什么进步？
心态肯定进步的呀。
这一整年其实挺难熬的，对吧？那有没有一些比较开心的瞬间？
要说的话，应该是 VG 夺冠的瞬间吧。我们是 VG 老粉，
我是 V 坤，
是 VG 夺冠，我们很开心。
替 VG 开心。虽然去年一整年都很难熬，最难熬的时候是什么时候？
有一段时间 maybe 就逃了，回去结婚了，我们非常非常难熬。
就是在队伍人员不整齐的时候，就会觉得稍微有点难熬一点。但其实那个 Major 你们打的成绩还可以的。
是这样的，但当时就感觉还蛮有希望夺冠的。
查理斯一直在点头，你怎么看那段时间？
那罪魁祸首就是我，别说了。
主动背锅是不是？那问一下，去年有哪个人的哪句话让你至今还记得？
就是开始选人了，搬完了，准备1、2手选人了，他突然问了一句 FY， 这把炸不炸？就转头站，这把炸不炸？FY 就。
他问，那其实老干爹虽然说拿了第6名，但是前面的5支队伍都是很强的队伍。你们是否还觉得自己依然是一支很强的队伍
？VG 最强嘛 ，VG 跟那个秘密独一档，我们就靠后。
我们在采访 VG 的时候，他们说跟老干爹打训练赛河道都过不去。
他们乱说了，我们
这一看就是造谣。
对，我们一过河道就被他们5个人冲出来乱杀，我们就是训练被他们打个什么10比0这种很正常。
就我们的训练就是被 LGK 操盘，就是都在他掌控下，他想让我们输就让我们输，想让我们赢就让我们赢。就我们出发前 LGK 都特意来说了一句：“你们要谢谢我抬了你们一手，就没把你们打得很惨。”
事实上就是我们根本没怎么赢过他们，
真的很恐怖。
现在看到他们，我们都在发抖。
那再次来到 TI， 2个人是抱着什么样的心态过来的？
肯定是抱着一点积极一点的心态嘛，就不能说想着什么复仇这种，就是你要复仇，你要向谁复仇嘛？还只能向 OG 啊。但是 OG 呢，怎么说呢
？OG 当然也很强
啊，对 ，OG 当然也很强。反正就不能抱着这种心态，肯定要抱着一点正面一点的心态，就抱着这种负面的心态打比赛不太好。
我们在来之前看过一段 FY 的采访，他说他自己的心理预期是，只要不拿第2名、第1名，其他任何几名都可以。你们怎么去看待？你的心理预期是什么？
没有什么预期吧，因为你有些队伍训练不到，然后你对那几个队伍评估也不太确定。认真来说的话，你也预期不了，但肯定就是越往上越好嘛。就排名越靠前越好，肯定是想着去往冠军那边靠嘛。
那这次 TI 在中国不同于以往，除了好好打比赛，你们有没有一定要做的事情？
没有吧，打 TI 肯定就专心一点吧。
好，那我们也希望老干爹能够打好自己的，好吗？谢谢。
谢谢。
I'm mildly confused after that. Chalice said in that interview that his expectation for this TI is that they wanted to be closer to being champions. I'm not sure how much closer you can get losing 3-2 in the grand final last year to actually be champions, so they have to win it.
Sounds like it. He's beat. Well, FY said he wants to get anything except second place.
First or third's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to see him finish third already. I'm already on board the FY train, and I know we've got a few of those in the talent room as well. Time to head in to game number 3.
PSG.LGD versus Team Liquid. Game 3.
This series is going to decide who gets to play in the grand final, a $20 million series out of our $35 million prize pool. And really, this one's also very exciting because it's totally going to shape what that story looks like. I mean, right now, you know, LGD, they definitely had a tough year, but it still seemed like their destiny to take TI9 here in Shanghai. Are we going to see them get the rematch against OG, or will Liquid continue the longest losers bracket run in the history of TI? Kyle, I think when we watched that last game, it was pretty clear that LGD suddenly started to play with a little bit of hesitation.
Oh, for sure. You can see even just with the item choice, Lifestealer going Heart and Butterfly, no MKB, like you'd have no Abyssal, the damage output just slowed down, and in addition, they just didn't seem confident sieging the base, and if there's anything you gotta do at this level of Dota 2, it's play to win the game. Tidehunter first pick from Liquid, you got to look at Rubik as a follow-up from PSG.LGD.
Yeah, Tidehunter, I want to talk about this hero because between these two teams, they are 7-0 with Tidehunter at the main event. So what better hero, I think, for Liquid would you want to going into the game decider?
Yeah, and you mentioned Rubik, Kyle. I know that this is a hero that is definitely always a talking point up here at TI, one of the most picked heroes of all time. Hello, Rubik. No stranger to this guy, and also you were talking about how important he really was in game 2.
Of course, we talked about transcendent players, and after the first game, FY with an incredible performance, GH, no slouch, arguably even better, undefeated so far in this grand lower bracket final, and I am jittery right now. It feels like a grand final. Like, we're all just watching on the stage. The crowd is going absolutely nuts.
Well, I mean, you just look at how huge this game really is. When you look at this team and how much pressure is going to be on them when you're in an arena filled with, what, I think it's 18,000 people here today watching LGD. This is who they want to win. If they don't make it, I think it's the first time since TI3 that there hasn't been a Chinese team in the grand final. It's a lot of pressure on these folks right now. I think it's pretty understandable how maybe we start to see TI4, Kyle. I think it's pretty clear how you can see that hesitation come into play. Kyle, stop holding up random numbers.
We've talked about the pressure, and we saw in the player cam before this game started that we was playing in a practice lobby doing Blink Meld Strikes with TA, and but like throughout the draft book, you know, just pick what you know you're going to play your best game on. And a hero that we've pretty much seen exclusively 9th, 10th this entire tournament, including the group stage, suddenly a first-round TA. Obviously very good against Rubik ET. Neither of those supports really threaten you that hard. You jump on ET in the back lines, which is like a really important thing to do when you have this ET counter initiation. But damn, to have the balls the first round of TA.
But this is what they did at their best performance at a major this year, right? Going back to Disneyland Paris. They were always comfortable just taking Wii's hero early on. He's a TA, a Wind Ranger, a Meepo, Tinker. These are his comfort heroes. And if you think about the rest of the Liquid lineup, Miracle and Mind Control have like they are incredible at such a large array of heroes. I think that they're the ones that you would want to have that versatility that you get at the end of a draft.
Now, I also do want to talk about that stress that's coming into play. You guys obviously talk about being on a comfort hero, having that ease of execution in your back pocket as well. But let's just look at the tournament runs for these guys. Obviously, we have a lot of experience up on the main stage. Even when you look on the side of Kuro, the most games played out of any player in the history of TI. He broke 200, passed Puppey after eliminating him. I think Puppey only got to 198, so very, very close there. But you look at what their tournaments looked like. LGD never really had the pressure on them. They had a fantastic run through the winner's side of the bracket. Liquid has been in the flames the entire tournament.
And this is a situation they've been in before.
Yep.
They have been up against elimination in the lower bracket multiple times. And they know that at the end of that journey back at TI7, they were the inevitable grand champions. PSG.LGD, it's a different story. Like, you don't have that same belief that in the end, maybe you'll persevere, you'll win that title. You don't have that same comfort that you've been there before. This is great. I think that the Rubik, though, you've got to be feeling good if you're FY. Like, if you're a PSG.LGD fan, if you're just a Dota fan, if there was a hero you want to see him on in Game 3, it's this one.
And I just want to say that up until that last game, LGD's only 2 losses on the main stage were to Alchemist. And in your mind, maybe you think to yourself, maybe we just kind of give away this one hero. They felt kind of like you couldn't touch them. And up until that last game where they had, in our opinion, a draft advantage, they had all the momentum. This almost reminds me of Game 4 of TI8 Grand Finals, where it's in your hands. You're there. And suddenly...
Yeah. And, dude, that's a perfect point, because, as you said, have been there. They were this close to winning TI. They were this close to making a second consecutive Grand Final. And it really, like, we thought it was over. It looked over. And just... if there's anything that kills you in this game, it's hesitation. It's the same in life. You've got to act, and just a couple minutes of mistakes, and all of a sudden, Liquid have a chance to come from behind and in what would be one of the more incredible series turnarounds I've ever. They pick up the Rasta, one of the hard counters to Void. We saw Lion picked up by PSG.LGD almost as a pre-counter pick, because you want to have those double lockdown Hex disable heroes to be able to kill 100-0 the elusive core.
Now, something that Kyle brought up even earlier in the draft is the idea once we get to this portion of picks and you see that third pick get locked in.
Oh,
wow, that's big.
Jesus, into TA, BSJ.
This matchup isn't nearly as bad as it used to be since the refraction doesn't work on denies anymore, but I just love it, man. They're just like, give me my best hero. I'm going to style. I feel like SF, out of all the heroes in the mid lane, is I'm going to style on you. That's exactly what he's going to say. And I couldn't imagine going out any better way or making it to the grand finals any better way.
I was going to ask with the third picks what it looked like they wanted to do to win, what win conditions they were trying to shape up. Now we're going to have a whole lot of information, Kyle, and actually get to peer into what they're trying to put together.
So Liquid have this cool concept coming together. You've got tools to acquire vision with the TA traps. You've got massive team fight, both to initiate and the combo breaker now with the Wyvern. You can be able to heal a target that gets chronoed and potentially Wyvern ulti through BKB to just deal with the PSG.LGD team fight. They also have the initiator of the Rasta, so it's a very balanced composition. PSG.LGD, I think PSG said it best, like, this is a lineup built to style on you. The maybe SF, the FY Rubik, like Ame Void, like these are heroes in the top 3 for these players on every single position.
You talk about styling on them. Is this the game that you want to come out and try to style after you just looked like you were hesitating?
Hey man, it's like Kobe said, doesn't matter how many shots I miss, I still want the ball. That's what a champion's mentality is.
What TI did he play in?
played in a couple more, I'd say, financially important tournaments than TI, but
that's not true.
That's actually false.
Are you crazy?
Hey, you know,
it's the largest tournament in the history of esports. Dota's been around for 16 years. This is still the biggest it's ever been.
I'm not going to touch that one, Kyle. But I just want to say that if you still have the confidence, like I don't think the way to the solution to losing your confidence in game 2 is to suddenly hesitate on your picks. At least if you go out there and say, I am going to play this hero to the fullest that I can, and like this is my favorite hero to play. I think game 5 of last year's TI Grand Finals said that the most about OG's lineup. None of them were counter picks. None of them were straight up just, this is the best hero for the game. This is my best hero for the game. And I do want to say that LGD, I like the way that each team is playing fights here. You pick the Void against Tide so that you can initiate through the Kraken Shell. Then you pick the Wyvern to save the Tide. Yep. And now you have a second hero that's willing to get chronoed. TA has Blink, so she's hard to be chronoed. It's a very hard Void game.
They needed that last pick to be something that could get down and dirty in the team fight. Now you have a Wraith King that can tank the chrono. One of the better counters to SF as well, because as you respawn, that damage reduction on the SF ulti would be negated. It disappears once you respawn. And now I honestly don't know what the last pick is here for PSG.LGD. It's a tough spot.
Hey, I mean, you look at this final pick from Liquid, it's basically budget Alk, right? I think that's one of the, and when you know how strong Alk has been in this current meta, even the budget version, it's going to do just fine.
Yeah. You've got a couple point-and-click stunts and the huge team fight heroes, the Wyvern side. They're covered now. They can play more leisurely on the outskirts of the fights. It's much harder for the PSG.LGD heroes to find them in the back lines. And you've got to think this is an Ame Void, but it is possibly Chalice's hero. He's been on point in this series so far. 30 seconds left.
I know it's in a tie, but how crazy to just do the signature Chalice Batrider, right? Like I know we haven't seen him much, but like it's really good against everything but the Tide. It lanes well. Okay, we go for the Darkseer.
All right. Really cool.
You like this, PSG?
It's more team fight. It makes chronos easier to play. You have like this team fight aura builder now. Previously, none of their cores or supports wanted to build these enabling items for the rest of their team, so I think it fits their draft well, and it's good against TA.
You've got better team fight on Liquid. PSG.LGD had to find some way to ensure they would be able to find and take skirmishes. They don't necessarily want 5-on-5s, they want pickoffs. They don't want to have to use chrono to get kills. This activates the Void so we can stick to a target without having to blow the big team fight cooldown.
Well, this is going to be the lineup for each team that is going to decide whether or not they're going to be able to make it to the grand final. This is going to be the game that will seal their fate, and the implications are huge as to what the story of TI9 is. Are we going to get that back-to-back champion? Are we going to see some new faces in this crowd here in Shanghai? Kyle, I'm gonna put you on the spot here based off of the draft. What's your prediction?
Oh God, I can't. I refuse to participate. All right, I have no idea. I just want to see another incredible game of Dota 2. You talk about storylines. PSG.LGD, the last Chinese team remaining. We are here in China. They've got 20,000 people behind them. The booths are alive. This is one of those moments where win or lose, you're just happy you were here. And I know that whatever team ends up out of this, you're not going to feel in the moment, but this is something, kids are watching at home dreaming about this. Yeah. You train your whole life to be here.
Yeah. I can't be more happy that Kyle chose not to give a prediction, because nobody at home wants to know what team is going to lose this best of 3. And I just want to say that there's so much team fight, wombo combo. I cannot wait to see this last game.
All right, the wombo combos may be coming on in. Before we get into the game, let's hear what Casey has to say.
All right, I want to ask you about the Shadow Fiend pick. The crowd went wild. It seems like a go big or go home kind of a pick. What can you tell us about that?
你们选了一个影魔嘛，然后当时观众也是沸腾了，然后就想看一下你选这个是出于什么考虑？
因为我们的影魔很自信可以打 TA， 然后觉得这版配合的就是比较好发挥。
Because we have a lot of confidence in our Shadow Fiend in going against TA, we feel that he is going to be able to really carry us in terms of combining with the rest of our lineup.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Confidence in the maybe SF, confidence in LGD. You would think it'd be shaken after game 2. Over 30,000 was actually it was a 60,000 swing. It was a 30,000 advantage that LGD had and lost.
Did they have 30K last game?
It was 30K last game. It was up a long way. Might have just been the experience, but it was definitely an advantage pretty damn high. But here we go for game 3. Darkseer appears once again. It seems the only teams that are playing this. It's like you're telling, like OG played it and Liquid have played it, and now LGD played it. Only the top 3 have played it here at TI.
And that's the kind of thing it takes. If you want to get top 3, you need to be able to get creative. You need to be able to adapt, come up with new stuff, and execute it properly. And well, Chalice has definitely had some great Darkseer performances in the past, so he's no stranger to this hero. We were considering Batrider as well. Similar to PSG, we were talking about how that could also be a Chalice option. But they do want to have the better scaling teamfight aura carrying offlaner. And it's going to be the exact same lane as Liquid played last game.
I'm loving this between Mind Control and X-Nova. If it's a dodger round to get the 3rd bounty rune for Team Liquid. Extra information for that one, and we have ourselves not an aggro try lane. FY, Rubik back again. We'll be down on the bottom lane to work with Mind Control. Only from Somnus. Burn the Mango. Don't care about the souls at the very beginning. Let's just beat the crap out of Weeha, who top lane drops insanely low. Loves defensive tri lanes.
He paid respect to Miracle there. He was worried about getting run down. Okay,
Here's your blast again. You have the Ether low on life this time around. He's not playing a hero with a huge stomp. He's got a hero with a huge amount of damage. X-Nova just damn. Ether shot's coming off cooldown in a second. Chance hanging around, but Miracle, he's got another raid fight brought down. Miracle in the safe lane is able to get first blood. And I look towards, got himself a creep wave and a half. He's loving this. He's even going to drag it as far safe as possible because Ame is trying to bring his own creep wave and a half over. But the two shall not combine.
This is a lot of experience for MC. He can to harass, but he will not be successful in forcing Mind Control away from this wave.
Hold it between the towers, which is probably what he wanted to do. Just change the momentum. 3 waves on bottom lane. He's got 5-3 CS right now. Down there waiting for him.
Yep, too many CS in the tower, but this is a very experienced carrier player. They never miss CS.
Don't put enough pressure into him. God, Weeha burning.
He missed one.
That's a 7-0.
Sorry. Still all right though. But yeah, clearly the big winner so far is Miracle. He got the first blood on the Wraith King, so he's that bit ahead. Looking good on the CS as well.
I'll say it'd feel very good for maybe. LGD were very confident having him in the lane. In fact, he gets a regeneration rune in the bottom river to boot. That's even better for him. But we've also seen we on jungle, slow recovery, wait for the right. How do those fights actually look? The laning phase, it can be a little bit more passive for the moment after the first blood. How's best one here from LGD?
I mean, the dream is obviously into Chrono, right? You have a couple of plays that revolve around this spec. There's no clear, easy initiation apart from landing a good ones out of those. So that's definitely something LGD will have to think about. Maybe you
mount things like the Winter's Curse.
Yeah, it's tough. I think the Winter Wyvern pick in this game is excellent, and you have to find either a solution where you get on the Wyvern, or you have so much magic damage that whoever you chrono, something Shadow Fiend is good at doing, at the very least. But it is definitely
position.
I'd say level of execution requirements of play that they've picked in this lower bracket final.
PH has won it. Nothing to do with this. Be put to sleep quickly. Kuro is making his way because the stomp's been used by X-Nova. Miracle can come over as well. He'll create the himself away. But it's already too late. Miracle finds the kill. There's a huge army coming his way too. Kuro, no other control, but Down on bottom. Is there another stun? There is. Miracle chalks up another one. 3 in total.
We should, however, remember that this is a tri-lane. We've seen this multiple times now by Liquid, where they start with a tri-lane, they get a couple of kills, but their supports need to be able to find levels afterwards, and you would imagine they don't stay as 3 up here much longer. While TA plays mid, I think that would be a really good, or plays jungle, it would be a really good solution to just get GH some good levels onto that Wyvern.
Nice dodge of the stomp from GH, found that small little area. Goinkle's available. Love how they're actually dragging the camp around the side, so if Nova wants to try and fight this.
Is that 2 for 2 runes?
Seems to be.
I'm only seeing 3. Did one get destroyed? I guess a rune got destroyed, right?
FY, GH, Kura all picked up one. Yeah, that's kind of it. Chalice just walks away on the top lane.
They're pinging out the ward.
Yeah.
They know it's got to be there.
Like, who can reach the high ground? And then they can get rid of next Nova. You could try and protect this. Up he goes. Instantly munches on the tango. I say as if it takes some tower damage for it. Want to keep my eyes also on bottom lane. Time locks begin. Mind control's in a little bit deep. FY. He just has to hold the telekinesis. Mind control can anchor smash and try and walk it off. He knows he's kind of dead, but you've already used telekinesis. There's no TP scroll available. They realize they need more to kill off this Tide Hunter. The ET stomp will connect, and they're trying to not all get hit by the anchor smash. And finally, jump forward, quick down, mind control, one more, taunt them into the trees. He's gonna blend, he's green, he can hide.
Yay! That was probably not worth it. But at some point, the human element kicks in and you're like, we gotta just kill this guy. But that took so long. I think Ami lost the full. They forced a rotation from the Elder Titan.
Somnus.
GH.
Hit that last raise. Oh, just out of range. Juking left and right. Gets away. It's a little bit of a problem for Somnus. He'll make up for it by farming up the camps. Mihal was pushing the mid lane, but FY is here to soak up some XP, and my god, does he need it. Level 2, 7 minutes in. Same for X-Nova. You talk about the problems coming in for the Team Liquid supports having to be in the tri lanes. It seems like also LGD's cause having a hard time getting some left. The tower refraction charges aren't up, but he won't need them. FY 4 hits and he gets the kill. X-Nova thought he could just get the spirit out, but there was no time for a stomp. No time for anything. Somnus rotation, Chrono on bottom. It's time to one raise. That's how we count. We this is how we kill. Underneath the tower. FY again. You thought you were back. Ooh. But you're helling back.
That is really bad news. TPing back into dying instantly. Once again, Elder Titan not in a position to help. Weehaw just goes for it. It's kind of almost reckless play, really paying off for him.
And that's a really dangerous hero to start feeding.
Damaging the tower right now.
Like, Weehaw had to work to get his Desolator in the last game. He's now 8 minutes in, treads, and now he's looking towards picking up the double Mithril Hammers to finish the job. Miracle in the meantime, gonna take that tier 1 tower up on top, while FY, well, Koro, how's it look up there? Anyone else actually have a stun? No. Hey, wow, we found the Arteezy counter. That's still going on mid. Weehaw, I don't know how aggressive you can be when Somnus is back in the lane. Somnus building for early drums too. Big. They already found their 1 kill with the Chronosphere on bottom lane. But is this it's going to be possible again? Mind control is getting working, currently holding the point. In case he needs the reincarnation. So once you blow everything you got, wondering how you get the sustain. Is it a combat style physical damage build here from the Shield like the Faceless Void?
I'm curious too. SF is a weird hero. You can go different builds and they can all work in the right times. I feel like the physical build kind of falls flat because you get outscaled. You get caught by stuns. You don't really get to just rather be a little bit on the outskirts of the fight, throwing raises and casting spells.
Just hold him, and Now his third kill of the game.
On Rubik.
On...
4 in a row in the same spot.
And Miracle's going to come to help out. 4 points up in the Mortal Strike. He's looking for a little bit more. Look how aggressive Kuro is getting. He's like, I have 2 Observer Wards. How do we put an Observer Ward between the Tier 2 and Tier 3 tower? That's how I feel about this game. And then he dodges the Sentry Ward that FY throws down to get rid of the TP. Catching out to TP support. Where is it going to come? Arme starts beating into Weeha, but Refraction charges are up. You've already got the kill over in the Winter Wyvern. GH is down for the moment, but Arme with no Chronosphere. Maybe the Storm can buy a little bit more space. Liquid. Oh, 5-man Ravage. He hits the whole kit and caboodle as LGD. Arme has a time walk himself away. They're back up to the Tier 1 tower, but they all get hit by the side blade. Now you're 8-5 plus. Over was FY. He was meant to be surged away to try and save him. The stop. Everyone goes back. Now he was the culprit of the mass sleep of Liquid, but they still are getting kills. They're getting farm. Also forgot to flag. Miracle and hand of Midas over on the Wraith King. Now #1 in the net worth.
Liquid are in an awesome position already. When you get ahead against Shadow Fiend and you take his tower this early, the map just opens up. And Shadow Fiend is one of those heroes where dying just feels so bad. Not only do you die, you lose half your souls. You're a kind of snowball-oriented hero. So these kills almost feel like you're getting 2 kills every time. And Liquid, they don't necessarily have to keep up a super fast pace because
they can.
They can with Wraith King, but if his ulti gets popped, then they need to chill for a bit. It's not even that bad of a disaster killing heroes.
From Team Liquid. Like Miracle, yeah, I said 9.5 minutes in, he got the hand of tower, moved up to 2.1k towards buying that very early Radiance. The Desolator from Weeha is coming on the Courier in just a second once it goes back and picks it up from the stash. But there's still a 12-minute Desert. Hell, even GH is thinking all I need to do is get a Blink Dagger so I can actually get a Winter's Curse. Sit at the back. LGD had 5 heroes practically holding hands. Even they'll still be able to hear each other they were that close. Bottom lane, Shackles. Arme's going to come a little bit further out. FY is hoping for a nice deal, and you can always get one from the Wraith King. But he was done. If you're Liquid, do you think you could force Roshan this early on once Ravage? Thing you want to do with the TA and Wraith King?
I like that. Out of it. I think, yeah.
He's already there.
Use the Serpent Wards. Why not? It's a really good move and a good timing. You're feeling way...
danger from the Requiem. X-Nova, he's a little bit further away. The level, but the Chronosphere from Arme, he's on the wrong side of the map. Now they TP to the Tier 2 tower. Fast enough for mind control. He's hiding in the tree lines. Here comes the ET Stomp. Shashan's already down to 1/3. And SF, Somnus. You do not want to play around a cluster position. Winter Wyvern with that curse can cause a lot of problems. The Weeha wants to go back in again. Arme, he's wrapping around the back. They've both got fantastic dance taunts. Yeah, you just spin on the spot, boys. Now, Chronosphere caught the nice target. Weeha in the back lines. Ravage, however, from mind control. Creates space, and Weeha turns onto Arme. Kills him off so quickly. They get 3-5 blasts on the challenge. He's got nothing more to give. Surge is coming off cooldown. The Hex, the Mass Serpent Ward. Kuro trapped him off. What goes on is going to be the Shackle. The Curse is out. The killing of Somnus. Unwillingly with the anchor punch from mind control. All the damage is gone from Liquid. It's all there from Liquid. FY will fall. Chalice was able to run back to the shrine, but what started off will now be finished. Team Liquid, 14 minutes into this game, will claim the first Roshan in what has to be one of the biggest games here at TI9, playing for that final spot in the grand final. Liquid have been there before, they want to be there again. And there he gets into Weeha.
And it all starts with Arme thinking he can kill the TA with Ion Chill on top of himself, but it wasn't enough with the Ravage coming in. We're seeing it right here. He even gets a couple of good bashes, but that Ravage from Mind Control, turning everything around, giving Weeha the time to get off a meld. And they have just enough damage, too, to make sure Void dies. And this Shadow Fiend movement, I feel like at this point, you just got to cut your losses. This fight is over. Yep. You lost your carry, you lost your big team fight ulti. You're running into 4 heroes that still have a lot of stuff to bring. The Wraith King is just way stronger than you right now. And
you even question where
you
question like where the fight is. Like Faceless Void is so far north.
Yep.
He's battling not just at the northern rune. He's battling on the high ground north of that rune.
If any one of his
couldn't get close.
if any one of his teammates could connect, that's a kill on TA. But it was only the Darkseer Ion Shield that he had to work with. Nothing else was helping out, and that's just not enough.
Ame jumps away, the fortification just being burnt to keep the tier 1 tower alive on top. Miracle's getting a trade-off on bottom lane. The army of the dead are fighting for Aragon. The tier 2 tower is going down quickly. Mass Serpent Wards are off cooled in 18 seconds time. And this actually, like, if you had like a heat map of Weeha, I don't think he's even had to leave this mid lane. It's just forever keeping the pressure on, always making LGD play on their side of the river. There will be a nice item coming in soon for LGD. The BKB is approaching for the SF. Oh my god, that win probability. 11 or 13%, a small adjustment. But it's still a great position for Liquid.
It feels like it was about the same that we had last game for LGD that time around. So you never know, but absolutely, LGD are in a really, really good position here. They're going to try to go for mind control.
Maybe they can get this with the 3 heroes. Wind up, let it go! The curse! GH was there! He'll stop the ball, they'll beat the SF. Mind control! It's the Ravage, and everyone has arrived! Team Liquid!
They're getting desperate, Toby. That's a desperate play. They're going on a tide next to his tier 2 tower. They're hoping to start it with a stomp into Requiem next to a tier 2 tower.
And Chalice won't even get away from this one. He came for the rune. Weeha grabbed it with the invis. He didn't need it. You definitely saw that one. The panel was saying maybe LGD learned from the last international TI8 Grand Final. They were so close. The resolution, the steal had to be there. FY, pick him up. You've got something to work through. There's a Sentry Wall of talent, so FY can't hide and meld. But LGD, they have to steal themselves. GH, like, come on! Come on!
And this tier 2 tower is done. LGD, what's your play? You've got to try to do something with the chrono. I think just chilling and farming is not on the... It's not on the table. You can't do it. You're losing all your map control. Liquid is going to take easy control of minimum 2 lanes. They're taking all towers. They're going to start invading your jungle if you don't make any move yourself. And you know you can fight without Ravage right now. This could be a possible opportunity. SF has a decent amount of souls. Liquid just going to go high ground right now.
Yep, massive push down from Kuro. The push on bottom lane, you don't fear it, but now you may have to. Somnus, how much damage can you get out? Miracle already starts over on the Faceless Void. The Stomp is good. Is there going to be any kind of split to follow this up? For the moment, Weeha trapped on the sidelines. They take out the tier 3 tower. Baby getting away. A time dilation. Weeha, the cold embrace from GH. He'll hug his core close, but it's still not enough to stop the Aegis Immortal from going. But the ET splitter very much off target. Miracle's ready to go again. He's looking to jump into the back lines, but Templar hasn't. Never got the shield up. The curse is out. Faceless Void with the Aegis match. Actually, is maybe enough with the guns. Reduce the armor. So Ame falls down to the rest of his team. So it'll still be a 1-for-1 trade-off with the tier 3 tower going the way of Liquid. They can look to Shrines now.
That looks scary for Liquid for a second. With TA dying twice like this, if Ame doesn't walk back into his team and get cursed like this, they could have maybe snowballed that fight and things could have gotten really, really scary. But quick curse from DH identifies the play, and the Gush was actually necessary. That is not a kill without the Gush. Even though it's a level 1, the -4 armor was the difference maker there to get that kill. And they're going to take the Shrine. They're not going to make the LGD mistake from the last game of letting this be here. Nope. Straight down it goes. They also have really good heroes for it. Wraith King is... because a lot of extra damage, low commitment.
It's now BKB. But it feels like Weeha's damage is getting more and more out of control. He's working his way in to his own BKB. But the Blink Dagger has arrived on mind control. Blink in the lane. They'll be very happy not to get the instant stun because they know the BKB's there. So jump up. They'll bait out the BKB. How much damage have you got with the Splinter Blast? Somnus. Ooh, boy. He being committed. And what did Liquid use? Ame goes towards the mid. FI would get the Hellfire Blast. Wraith King. He still got this damage into Ame. Who will just time walk it off. They slow down as Liquid look for the right opportunity to jump. With Blink Daggers on all these cores, There's always an opportunity. Chrono's on cooldown. Another 18 seconds. That's why Liquid.
How good vision they have right now. They have circle basically drawn outside. No matter which exit they take, they will be in vision unless they smoke. This is how you want to try to ward similar to this pattern. So the enemy team is just feeling completely locked down. There's no obvious light at the end here for LGD to just wait for. Then we get this item on Void or this item on Shadow Fiend. We can turn everything around. Liquid is going to outscale you just because they get more farm. Like, their matchups are not bad enough that you can feel happy with being in this state.
The crazy thing is too, like, yeah, items are up, but for BKB, but you're right, the Blink curse is now there for GH. How to even reach into the back lines to find him? Like, there's so many Blink daggers, and you're even saving an Arcane Rune. You asked for it in Game 2, Sin. You get it here in Game 3. The bottle on a core, the Arcane Rune. Mind Control even bought it after he saw the Arcane Rune.
Yep. Wants to save it for the fight.
Charles is a little bit out. The only person who doesn't have that. And with 4 Blink daggers on Liquid, they can just reposition their team so quickly. What you can do is hide inside the base, but the longer they do this, the bigger the advantage gets for Team Liquid. Of course, Templar Assassin's already burned the Aegis Immortal. Roshan may respawn in 45 seconds time. But even then, LGD will need probably the most glorious chronosphere of all time.
There's the smoke.
But who do they get? Mind Control's nearby. He's going to reveal himself for a moment. They have to commit everything if they want him. He just blinks away.
They wanted to throw the Spirit out to break the Blink Dagger and then go in with Void, but he jumps out just in time. 6th Sense.
And Weeha instantly hits into the melee, racks up on top. Not exactly the most sustained damage you'll ever get, because it may regen through it. So Roshan will find the timer in 5. Control, yeah, I dodged the gank. I'll just stay down here now. Yeah. They're not going to smoke out at me. Roshan's going to be just over long.
It feels like Liquid is gaining 500 gold more per minute than LGD right now, if you look at it.
Dogs, you have Somnus is nearby.
And this is not even counting bounty runes. They will be in 3 minutes. If LGD don't get out, they're going to lose another move from them, guaranteed. But is it going to be before of the bounty runes? Do they want to try to get control first? Scared here. There's not...
Need something, Sind.
They really do need something. It failed. You've got to try again. If this is their last smoke, though, they might want to save it for a potential Roche.
Liquid are coming under the cover of smoke. FY is coming out for rune control. It's almost a little bit closer. FY, fantastic grab. Throws it back with the rapid bend from Mind Control. Clipping over on 3. The dead mech. But even then, you weren't getting away from Liquid. Rubik dead for 30 seconds. And I gotta tell you, the big man's alive.
That could be an opening for Ravage for 2 minutes. You can think about trying to go and contest the Roshan now if Liquid start opening it.
LGD know that no Roshan's happening. Maybe this is really a smart opportunity. You own the map.
Yeah.
You own the farm.
They absolutely don't have...
Unless you feel totally confident at this. Which right now, they're not. Wraithing's going back up to farm a little bit longer. The Assault Cuirass is done in 400 gold. They can wait out these next item timings. It's a Bloodthorn build. Tide's building up pipe for of that magical damage of LGD. As he said, like, if the Chronosphere hits, you need that magical pop to get the kill. LGD come over, but Team Liquid get the perfect scan. And while we may have changed the sides of the river, it still is the same. Liquid know where LGD is. LGD has a pretty damn good idea where Liquid is. Bring up for another 5-man smoke. It's going to be 4. GH wasn't included. They could slip inside of Roshan here, under the cover of the... Where's the opening? There's no dire vision up on the hillside. And the ET Spirit's done. Miracle, the smoke's gonna break over on him. He's underneath the Observer and Sentry. They know it. Arme, as well as Somnus. Wind up. Arme, wait, he jumped. Sorry, the Shaman, he's protected. GH got the cold embrace up. It's a totally wasted Chronosphere. Weeha, he needs to move a little bit closer to get this catch over towards X-Nova. He's been that range control. Maybe Kuro will go down. The Darkseer illusion. Nope, taken care of by mind control. And X-Nova, the Mel Strike with the DD rune is way too much. The Gush and the TA trap, he can't survive that.
LGD had perfect vision of these heroes walking in, and Ame just jumped across and sold his Shadow Fiend.
Carmen, like that was the primary target at the beginning.
The problem is, I don't even know, like these two heroes that walk up, if he chronos them, my team is already separated.
Here we go.
Here. So they walk in, the two heroes he's going to see now that he can chrono are Tide and TA. If he chronos them, they're going to get saved by Cold Embrace and he's going to get cursed. So the play kind of doesn't even exist to begin with. Void has to try to find Wyvern, but can't do it. GH has perfect as fail from the beginning. Liquid now get the Roshan for free.
Took that entire fight without Ravage too, Team Liquid. It's up and ready to go. Curse is available. Both are in the hands of Weeha in just a couple of cams time to get that Orchid flying out in the courier. But I got a funny feeling he might want to give that cheese over to somebody else. Gonna be the immortal TA. Here comes Liquid through the bottom lane. Top tier 3 tower, one on bottom. ...28 seconds. And is the biggest opportunity Team Liquid will probably have. With the Immortal. Drop the Observe Ward, that won't last long. But whoever comes out, they know. Alright, can I get this? No, I can die. The Ravage will connect. 3 heroes caught. Instant death for Arme. And instant buyback as well. The Mass Serpent Warns will be triggered. All of this for a dire Observe Wall, which not only now gets Quelling Bladed down. Chalice, back, ball, able to catch up to the ET Somnus well, getting good control. But the Curse, Shadow Fiend, trapped inside this wall for the moment. Weeha picking up the backlines. Now Somnus, so much of that BKB was wasted by the Curse. The Weeha and Mind Control, they're all jumping in. The Chrono, it's huge. It's called out 3 with the ET Splitter. Arme needs more damage alpha, but maybe they've got it underneath the tower. The Cold Embrace, Weeha. More must be gathered from LGD to defend this base. But Liquid keep on the jump forward, the back into the wall. Kuro's gonna be careful, he's dropping low. Same with Weeha, doesn't have the agency model this time. Chalice, eats a shot from Kuro, will kill him off, but the revenge is there. Weeha will fall, and Liquid happy trying to run out of here. The Splinter Blast, it's good damage, will slow him down. Reincarnation. With the wind-up, it's good damage as well as the sleep, but now Miracle back to the front lines. Liquid, they're on the ropes, they're running out of here. You've got killed up by Mind Control. Miracle will finally be brought down when the anger's match from Mind Control. He thinks about fighting a little longer. GH, this fight's gone so long. The Kuro has not only fought back, he's managed to walk his way back into the fight with the shackles. Arme's held, FY, he's actually able to help create the space, but it's the Darkseer doing it. Chalice. Splinter Blast flies, the Mech always the Curse from GH. It does feel like this push is dead from Liquid, but they still want to keep on fighting anyway.
It's a crazy hold from LGD, and they get a huge reward, 1K gold. They had to spend so many buybacks on this. It felt like it was actually only 2.
It was the Darkseer and the Faceless Void who had to buy back. It didn't get caught up in the team fight recap because that fight literally lasted a minute and a half.
Yeah, so, but it's because it's 2 cores. It's actually not that many buybacks, but it's 2 of the richer kills that they get. They're nice, but you gotta have to find more than that if you're LGD. But it's a possible outcome in that situation.
Up over on FY.
He's got to be careful.
He does. Fresh Medallion, Weeha just slightly misblinks. Thanks to their sentry. Goodbye, Obs and sentry.
Well, Liquid can try to push again. Wait for key item. Wraith King's close to BKB.
Oh, Mind Control. He's on top of Arme. Put around here, but Arme, you just feel the fear. Manta's time walks away. Oh, yes, inside the trees.
There's an ob sentry there, so. Oh well, he only needs...
Still works.
4 bounty D cannot realistically leave their base and fight for these right now. They're too far behind. Maybe needs to regain souls. He's working on that right now. He's close to a butterfly. He is full on committing for the right-click build. But he's so far behind. He's a Shadow Fiend that's 4.5k behind. It needs to be ahead or at least tied to feel strong. To rely on Liquid pushing once the BKBs are out.
Rubik's going to show himself for a moment. Ravage. Miracle's holding back just a little bit, but here comes his BKB on the taken by... Oh, yep. Miracle's actually just walked off. We half of the cause here of Team Liquid, but confident enough going up for the melee racks. Mass 7 Wars can change their focus. Battling through the backdoor regeneration. Miracle will come and join in. The melee racks will fall. And LGD, they have the combination ready. They just don't want it. Not against that D.
It's always hard when the but I don't know. I think they have to try to get first flying out for, and then maybe you can find a jump. It feels so difficult. Fight starters, right? You can try a Rubik lift, which exposes FY to get killed because he has no defensive items, or you can just jump in and chrono. But that's just this one TA. You jump chrono him, instant cold embrace and a curse. You have no idea where they are. They're either smoke the high ground. So the options, there's like LGD, but at some point you have to pull the trigger and go for it.
Arme, he's already time walked into the tree lines. Mind Control's going to find him over on the corner. Kuro's moving in too. He'll be in range for the Hex, but Arme jumps away. Mind Control. Arme, Chrono defensively. There's illusions of doing some damage into Kuro, but Chrono is now down for 2 minutes.
Liquid can go high ground mid right now. They have 40 seconds on the Shaman Serpents, so it will be really good timing when they get to mid. And yeah, you don't get the kill there, but the Chrono is... It's not as good as a kill, but it's pretty close. The Void can't contribute that much in the fights. If he jumps in, Mantis diffuses someone, they're going to turn on him right away and he'll be forced out. He has to leave the...
Here comes Liquid. Bloodthorn is over on the Templar Assassin. Practically James Bond, a license, and Somnus is presenting himself quite line. He's looking towards Chalice, and now, well, you do have the illusions of the Darkseer wall appeared. The Range Rack stops a lot of damage, but the bottom lane's still pushing in too. They've got a catapult wave. LGD, beset upon on all sides. Somnus continues to show himself.
Is Core going to use the snakes? Yes,
he does. They're committed down. X-Nova putting Miracle to sleep. Weeha jumps in. It's very hard into the SF. Still has his BKB back, but there's no wall. There's no... follow-up. And back is a long ball. Now they don't have their team fire sphere anyway. 35 seconds. Once again, this feels like the best opportunity is being the tier 4 towers. No Liquid overcutting with the Mass 7 towards a Miracle. Claim their second melee racks. He wants the rain. They look to just over 2 minutes. Liquid, they will be methodical about this. They are so far ahead. They have all the map control. And maybe not. Miracle, he jumps in. Somnus explodes. You thought Liquid were gone. Now SF's down and he has... buyback available, and if he doesn't commit it, they're up against Megas. Even if he does commit it, they're probably up against Megas. Is the Chronosphere available? Liquid, they smoke up themselves. They were in range of that Radiant Orbs, however.
They want to Blink Ravage the SF and end the game if they can. Opportunity, they're going to pounce on it, and the game will be over.
All eyes on Somnus.
Super careful.
They see him. They're slipping in.
Yep, Miracle's coming in through the bottom. He will have a line to jump here.
Solve, you got the BKB up from Somnus. Miracle, reincarnation. They're put to sleep for the moment. Thank to the ET Stomp. Seconds, and it's down for a minute. Need to be had. Maybe they can get a kill. The curse is out from GH. Space be created. This is set. He'll just get the huge ravage. Void's already down. Dark Seer is trapped. The mech. As Miracle stares into Charles's eyes and just ends it. Arme wants something back. Weeha able to actually now be chrono save. Been through the Winter's Curse, but he's gone through the Cold Embrace. Weeha can just blink away. Perfectly timed on the refraction. Miracle jumps in, kills FY. Is there a rebuttal? There's not. Amy, Arme's already gone down. Two heroes in the long range shackle. Can't move anywhere. FY's trying to get the big chains done, but they're just fighting back now. That Team Liquid trying to repel the Nine. Hope's alive. As the Raptors, August will come up from Liquid. And LGD, without Chrono, without Darkseid, without a soul, they have to try and push back Team Liquid with the mass Serpent's down. Then Somnus, he's gonna fall. That should be the game right there, GG! Team DD, they have dropped one game in this entire lower bracket. It was in this series, but they fight back and get into their second TI Grand Champions, OG.
What a way to do it. That means we will get a repeat champion this year as well.
We will.
We will guaranteed get minimum four. Minimum 4 repeat champions this year as the only player in the grand finals that has never won it, but he has yet. To win it, so they will get a little bit of time to rest, of course. What a game to end it on for Liquid. They just played amazingly this game. I loved it. It did everything it needed to do. They played the lanes well, they played the fights well, and LGD, they drafted something that was just, in this game, everything that needs to happen is just so unlikely to get the type of fights you're looking for. Liquid's way more straightforward, more options, more ways to play around the map.
As Kuro said in his interview yesterday, we're the best. He believed in his team. He picks them the solid heroes. Weeha, go ham. My control, go control. And just push us through to 2-1 victory over LGD.
Yes, indeed. We now know our grand finalists for the International 2019. Team Liquid, winners of TI7, go head-to-head with the champions from TI8, OG. It also ends the streak of no one winning 2 TIs. At least one of these, or one set of players will win a second TI. In fact, the only player that now plays in the grand final is Weeha, who has something of a record, Gods. We were talking about this just off air, of lower bracket runs. He was in the OG team originally that went all the way through the lower bracket. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, I mean Miracle. Well, you mean the OG
Miracle
one that
was.
made? Yeah,
yes,
Miracle.
Sorry,
yeah.
Miracle.
He was on the DC team that made the lower bracket
exactly.
run.
Right. So he was on the lower bracket. Miracle actually won a major from the lower bracket round 1 with OG.
Yeah.
And now he's with Liquid on a lower. I mean, it's just incredible. What a journey from Liquid.
Yeah, for sure. It just shows the mental stability, right? You can just go in there, you draft the heroes you want, you play your own game, you make LGD, like you force those mistakes from them, and then guess what? You're in the grand finals now.
And it was kind of the heroes they wanted, but it was also like a trap that Faceless Void picked. They had all the answers to it. Every Chrono was like, okay, nothing, no damage. Winter Wyvern. We haven't seen this here at all on the main stage, and it was the perfect answer to Faceless Void. Liquid baited that pick out.
And Shadow Fiend, right? We saw the BKB ulti 3 times. GH just Winter Wyvern ultied it. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm going to get more from all three of you in just a moment. But Casey's ready for us to get some thoughts from a man who I would assume, Casey, is very happy at reaching yet another grand final here at TI.
Yeah, you can just feel the relief when he walks in the room. Kuro, it's great to see you again. Congratulations. That first game was the first game that you guys lost this entire tournament on main stage. What do you think was the difference maker, and how were you able to turn it around for games 2 and 3?
I thought in the first game we misplayed quite a lot. I think we could have won the game based on our strategy, but I think LGD outperformed us, and so they took the win from us. And since like we kind of knew, or I knew at least that we misplayed the game, so going into the second game is not that hard. It's more like, okay, like let's get our shit together and let's go.
You're in the grand final. Is it good to be back, I would imagine? It was TI7 that we last saw you there. How long have you been waiting for this moment and thinking about this moment?
Every year. This is my highlight of every year. I'm trying to get to this place. I'm just so happy that I get to play every day, pretty much, and that I'm part of the last day of the TI. And I was already like happy like going so far with my team because we started from zero, basically. And well, thank God I'm here now.
How do you think you guys were able to turn it around after the season that you had, which wasn't terrible, it was great, but you know, it wasn't the TI winning ways that you were looking for?
Well, the season went fine. I mean, objectively, it's actually a very good season for us. We just came with a new mindset into this TI. We took it like a bit differently, changed roster, and just tried like our best. We thought we would do very well, but the group stage didn't go so well for us. But luckily, it doesn't matter now. So
You're going to be getting your wish. You're going to be facing No Tail in the grand final. You guys are going head to head, and now we are definitely going to see a repeat TI champion. What would that mean to you to be the one to do it?
it's my biggest goal, DOTA-wise, right now, is to just take the Aegis before anyone else.
And what does it mean to be able to face last year's champions?
To be honest, in my heart, if it's not me, I wish it for No Tail. So this is either way, like, that's a very pure finals for me.
Have the two of you chatted since yesterday? I know that when we interviewed you yesterday, you mentioned that you guys during group stage talked to each other about like, let's try to meet in the grand final. Have you chatted since?
Yeah, just very short. Like basically, you just reaffirmed to me like, you know, see you in the finals. I'm like, yeah.
How are you going to spend the next hour getting ready to come back so we can see you again?
I need to prepare for OG, you know, so not much time. I have a good coach, so I have some papers prepared. I think I'm gonna relax now for like 5 minutes. And
5 whole minutes?
There's no time, right? TI is awesome schedule. It's okay. And